Hi everyone, welcome to another episode of Synth Geekery, episode 259 we're up to. Hope you've had a great week. We've all had a good week here, I guess, to some degree, and to other degrees we probably haven't, but we'll get into that a bit later. Big welcome to all of you guys who are watching live. Many thanks for taking the time out to sit around and watch the show while it streams live. It's the best experience if you're watching this on the replay to watch it live, because you get to chat, you get to interact, you get the electrons slapping you in the face as they happen, and it's probably a more, a better experience. And we try to stream at a time where we get a majority of you guys awake in the world, which is why guys like me and Chris stay up late on a Saturday night, where most musicians are probably out gigging at that time. So we're doing it on a Saturday night for us, so you guys can get it in your early morning or your midday or your afternoon, wherever you are in the world. So hope you guys appreciate that and enjoy it. And I thought we would say hello to everybody here, starting with all the video guests that we've got this week. We've got one missing down below, so we'll put some Zoom callers, if you want, in there. By the way, Zoom callers are welcome at any stage during the show to come and go as they please. Ask us anything, that sort of stuff. There's the Zoom link there. It's actually pinned in the chat right now if you guys want to join on Zoom. We've had quite a lot of people come in and go in the last couple of shows. It's been quite stable, I would say, now with the Zoom. I feel like it's working better. I would still like a few extra features my end, like being able to put titles and stuff like that in there. But hey, beggars can't be choosers. How's everyone going?
No.
Hey, how's it going?
Well, not bad.
Fantastic. Well, why don't we say a quick thank you to all the supporters of the show first. These guys here that you can see on your screen are probably the biggest supporters of the show, because they give out their personal time to come in and grace us with their presence. But on top of that, there's also these awesome people. We've got a bunch of patrons who help us out. I don't know why the music's actually playing properly this week. Isn't that weird? And we have our channel members, which I've updated. So some people dropped off and some people added on, which is always the way with life. But a massive thank you to all of those people there. And yes, it is up to date as of 30 minutes ago, I guess. We haven't had a Name That Synth for a while. I keep putting it up on the blog posts. There's information on our website on how to do it. It's actually probably a good idea to probably reignite that. Who misses Name That Synth? I do. I miss it.
Oh yeah, I miss it.
Yeah, it's fun making
them. It's okay making them.
Yeah,
that's probably why it's a hard caper.
If you had a new synth that I could do, yeah.
I like watching the smart people get it very quickly when I desperately wrong.
What we might do is a little bit later, after we've introduced everyone, I think we'll just put a pin in that for a sec, but we will talk about Name That Synth. For those who don't know what we're talking about, we'll go back and we'll show an old one, and we'll show you guys what's involved in running that. The comp is still live. I still get supported by Plugin Guru, so we can definitely talk about that. But why don't we start with saying g'day to the video guests this week? Oh, and a big thank you to JP for $10 to hire a few more electrons to power the show. Thanks, buddy. Appreciate that. Just before I was about to hit the button, we'll start with Daren. You ready to go this week? Here we go. How's your week been?
Ready to go. I'm always ready to go.
Good
How's
man.
my week been? Damn hot over here. I know it's not hot compared for you lot, but it's been too hot. So I've basically not been in the studio all week. I've not looked at anything. In fact, music, I have not had anything to do with this week at all. This is the first time in. I've not even had time to do a video, a track for tomorrow, which is unusual because I usually have one out at least every fortnight.
We're not the synth. We're not the synth police, mate. So yeah, exactly. No, you're allowed.
I thought that there's no rules.
We are the synth mafia, though. Watch out. So.
Exactly. So I might even try and write one within an hour, because I started playing around with one before we came on the show, but It's unlikely because I like to spend a bit of time on it. Not
Wow.
never know. I might do an hour. I might spend an hour and do 1 hour for 1 hour in an hour, but that's not easy.
All right. Fantastic.
But other than that, I can't. I've just been working and just like staying out of the studio. It's too hot. Just can't concentrate.
Some people might have some questions for you, Daren, this week. So let's.
Why haven't you been in the studio?
I don't know. They might have some questions like, "Hey, what's that behind you?" Or "What's your favourite CD on your right hand side there?" And I don't know. I guess it's probably Orbital. That would be my guess. But
possibly, yeah.
Yeah,
they're all.
There is other ones. But...
Yeah.
Yeah.
Awesome. We will go next to Andy over in the other side of the world. He's
Hey, buddy.
Waking up early for us all.
Yeah, I got bedhead of the works, so it's kind of crazy. Yeah, I haven't, like Daren, I haven't done a whole lot musically. I did, I think, 2 things for Clownfest 13 last week. Did a modular set, and I did a studio tour part 2 that are up on Pierre the Acid Clown's channel. If you check them out. And last weekend was California Extreme, the big video game expo, so I did a bunch of stuff there. Coin op stuff and some console stuff and all that. And today and yesterday are let me get the name right because I keep saying the stupid name wrong. Vintage Computer Festival West at, of all places, the original Silicon Graphics headquarters building in Mountain View, which is now a Computer History Museum, ironically. And it's a beautiful building. They have EP1 there. You can play Space War. Sometimes the guy who created the game back in '62 is actually there. You can play on a proper vector screen with head-to-head with controls. They also have a IBM 1401, I think it is, system with card reader. And actually, for the first time, went in there yesterday. You type in your name into this little punch key thing. You punch out a card with your name in the card, walk it over to the printer, and the guy prints out your name on a big fanfold paper, old school style. So kind of funny. That's from 1960 as well.
Fun fact about Silicon Graphics. I don't know if you know this, Andy. You might because you're an IT geek like me. The original Google Earth application was actually not developed by Google at all. It was developed by a couple of German blokes. And
there's a company called Keyhole.
It was a company called Keyhole. They're still around actually. And it was actually
I had Keyhole before they bought it.
It was developed on a Silicon Graphics computer, which the guys borrowed from German Telecom. It was because they were so expensive. I don't know when it was in the 90s. I guess it was late 90s. So yeah.
Yeah, when I bought a Spaceball, it came with a free 6-month license for Keyhole Pro. So I could not only do all the full functions of Keyhole, but I could also record videos and stuff. So I could do flyover videos and zoom in and out videos, and it was pretty cool actually. It was really good. I'm enjoying that quite a bit. And then all of a sudden, hey, where'd it go? Oh, Google Earth. Look at that. It's kind of funny. But yeah, so more vintage fair this weekend. So look for, as usual, the live stream. This year, the whole building, as you would expect, the whole building is excellent so far. So signal, no problem. All my streams have been live. No after uploads so far. So
good stuff.
If you like nerding out on stuff, I mean, they had a whole British computer section, stuff I haven't seen before. They had Russian computers there in Cyrillic playing Tetris. Just whacked out stuff. If you like Commodore Amiga, there's a bunch of that stuff there. So yeah, it's totally crazy.
Awesome. Beautiful. Don't have Ian this week because he's up. Where is he? Jesus, monetization turned on. Have I forgotten to turn monetization off?
Edinburgh Fringe Festival.
Yeah, sorry. If I've got monetization turned on, I do apologise. It's probably just my mistake. I've left it off. Anyway, we'll go across to Chris. Hi, Chris. How's your week been?
I'm not Ian. Yeah, it's been sort of halfway between. It's sort of been a bit synthy, but not as synthy as I'd like. I have been in the shop. I put together 3 DIY kits for some lovely customers who bought my DIY kits. Got them out the door. Shipping, all good stuff. I got a 5-star review this week. That's nice.
Wow. Nice.
Yeah, 5-star review. Very nice. I think it's Danielle from Canada who was very happy with my module. So that's always good to hear. Thank you.
Oh, Chris, I was going to ask, did you get any more sales? Because I mentioned your module on my tour last week on Clownfest. So hopefully you get some more people to buy your stuff.
Possibly, because I did get a slight bump in DIY kits. Do you think
Oh,
there
there
were
you go.
DIY people who took that? Possibly. It may have been
No, just in
you.
general.
Thank you.
Yeah, I mentioned it and showed it, talked about it a little bit. So
Yeah, no, it's interest is always growing, so that's in the right trajectory. So it's good. Yeah, what else did I do? I have a notes here. What did I do? Oh yes, did family and life stuff. Don't we all? Renewing driver's license and buying stationery for the shop. I added a layer of dust to my wave state. It wasn't dust, but it was dust because I didn't get a chance to get to it today. But I did get a chance to get to something else. That is a DIY kit for the Befico Onuri, sorry.
Yeah.
So that came this week. So I've started building that one. Before then, I built the Plats.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, it's the Plats. The Plats. I built the Plats. I don't have a camera on it, but you can hear it doing its thing. It's doing stuff. And strangely enough, it's doing techno. Yeah, it's doing stuff. It's very nice. I kind of get it now. It's a beast.
Yeah,
Beast
it's
of a
pretty
module.
deep. Pretty deep.
It's pretty, yeah. Its fidelity is really, really nice. It sort of took me aback. It was like really nice DACs in there, I think. So
what's the primary engine for it? I don't know that one.
it's an ARM something, an ARM Cortex.
No, I mean, what is it? What is the synth engine? What is it actually doing?
It's a digital.
It's
mutable.
a multi. It's a macro oscillator, so it does 16 different synthesis models.
Oh, cool.
It does 8
braids,
it does
plats, Behringer brains,
Yeah.
all the same thing.
Yeah.
Oh, nice.
Same
Okay.
thing. Yeah. So it's the 8 tonal generators and then 8 percussion type generators. Makes it very cool.
You can
And I
also
can see
put
why-
DX7 voices on it too.
Yeah, I haven't worked out how to do that. I suspect maybe I do or don't have the right firmware for that.
Latest
and
firmware.
But yeah, well, it might be there. It may not be yet in the user manual. I didn't see it in the user manual. It just talked about the original FM, which is only single
No, that's
operator,
different. Yeah,
whatever,
you need to
but,
go onto
yeah.
the mutable website. It's on there.
Yeah. If I need to upload the firmware, I will probably need some additional hardware because this one doesn't come with the USB option. It's just the original sort of plate.
Oh, okay. You'll need that little USB dongle thing.
Yeah,
Yep.
you need the programmer for.
Yep.
Which is one of those things I probably should have in my kit bag anyway, especially if I start getting into developing stuff with these kind of CPUs and stuff.
Yeah. I mean,
So,
that was kind of one of the cool things about the Behringer brains is that it actually came with a USB port on it, which I thought was quite cool.
I was thinking about that today, and I thought, yeah, that's why Rant bought the brains because he can get the firmware on it.
I actually didn't buy the brains. Good time to talk about this actually, because it's a good segue. So I do want to kind of just mention just briefly that condolences go out to Dan's family. He passed away.
Oh yeah.
I think it was it this morning or yesterday? It was very, very, very recently anyway. So you guys will know Dan is the guy that did quite a lot of the Behringer videos.
Yeah.
Not the latest guy, but the guy before. So Dan and I actually had a really good relationship. This was actually when Behringer were actually sending gear out to people. So Dan sent out the brains to me. He sent out the swing. We had absolute like I don't know how you say it. Like we were basically laughing our heads off because we knew that the whole world was going to get their butt hurt about the Behringer swing because it's the exact clone copy of the keystep. But we all knew it. He just said, "Look, you don't have to do a video review or anything. Just chuck it in, in the background, and people can see you've got one, and then it'll get you talking about it, and that's all we really mind." And I mean, it was kind of interesting how Behringer sort of went about things. But I mean, I've still got the swing here; it's still working. So nothing wrong with it. It works fine. And and in terms of Dan, he also worked with Howard Jones. And he used to tour with him. He also worked at Roland UK for probably about 10 years before that, I believe. So, you know, he's quite well known, especially in the UK in the synth community. He's got a very, very good record and resume, and it's just too soon to go. So I think you know, condolences go out to him and his family, and obviously any friends that know him in the synth community. We're all behind you guys, and I just wanted to say that on it's a bit of a down note. Actually, it's a bit of a nasty week this week for bereavements, because my dad actually died this week as well. Oh, no. So I'm kind of like going bang, all these cool people dying. So I thought I'd do this show this week, and we'll sort of tribute it to both my dad and to Dan. I don't think Dad ever watched this show because it was probably a bit too technological for him, but he knew about it, and he had a good innings. So in the end, the cancers and all that stuff that had him just got the better of him. But look, we're person through it in the family. So my mum survives him, so mum's still around. So hopefully she's knowing mum, she'll be around for a lot longer. But yeah, bit of a bereavement week this week. Sorry to sort of put the
Good thing you made that trip, Ranzee.
Well, see, that was trip to Adelaide. You guys remember I went to Adelaide a couple of weeks ago. I didn't have the show, and that was to see my dad. And so it was definitely worth taking the kids over and all that sort of stuff.
100%.
We got the word from the doctors and that, so we kind of knew. Anyway,
still
moving on. I think we this week for me has been kind of you can just imagine I haven't had time to do anything, but I have when you sort of have things nasty that happen in your life, and I kind of thought we'd talk about this. You do kind of jump onto your loved things, and I kind of thought about music for a bit, and one of the things I was thinking about is just how healing it is. It's amazing, the energy that music can give you and how it can heal you. And sorry, my son was just messaging me. And and all that sort of stuff. So I feel like that's a good topic that we can hit in the Saturday Sonority segment, which will be at the end of all our regular segments. I don't know if you guys think that's a good one to get into. So I thought that's
great.
That's something that I felt this week personally, and I can obviously offer my insight into that. But music is healing. It's really, really good to to get you to a place where you're feeling down, and so you whack some music on, whack some headphones on, and you can escape, I guess. I don't know what you want to call it, but it was really, really cool. All right. We should remind everyone that Zoom is on. Don't worry, it's not going to be a sorry show. It's going to be a happy show, guys. We're going to celebrate people's lives. We may even show a video of Dan a little bit later, just to remind you guys what he's like. And don't forget about zooming into the show. There's a spot right below me, so we can actually don't even have to go to the 9-up screen for the first person who can jump straight in there. Other than that, why don't we say hello to the chatties? There's a plenty in there. According to YouTube, there's about 60-something people in there. And if you're not in there, you should get in there, because now you can get your name on the screen. And look at that, all those dizzy heights. Obviously, the big thank you to all the channel members. You can see the channel members because they have the Synth Geekery icon next to the name with nice colors. If you do want to be a channel member, it's really easy. Just right below your YouTube window, you will see the join button, and just hit on that. And I think it's relatively inexpensive, isn't it, guys? Like $1 or something for the base one.
Yeah, it's not much.
Not much.
Pocket money.
Pocket money for some of you. Some of you can't afford it. That's cool. No, there's no judgment here. Big hello to Stephen Smith, who was in earlier, one of our channel members, and also a fellow Aussie, lives over in the other side of Australia. So he may still be here, he may be up. He sometimes stays up for us. James jumped in. Obviously, Kent Spong's there, as you can see. He was actually one of the first in as well. But Stephen actually gets the yellow Guernsey this week, so he can ride around Melbourne thinking that he's in the Olympics on the velodrome with his Synth Geekery yellow Guernsey on. This is a virtual yellow Guernsey, people, by the way. James, I said hello to you. Pat Brady, nice to see you, mate. Human Error as well, big hello to you, one of our channel members. Future World Machine as well, big hello. JP Page 2, as I mentioned before, thanks for the $10 before, mate. That was much appreciated. Those do really, really help. I'm just letting you guys know that money that you guys put into the show, it goes directly into the cost of the show. Like I've got a monthly Zoom bill now, and I've got software updates and things like that I've got to pay for. So it definitely helps. It definitely helps. Da Vinci Girls there, big hello to you. Dr. Synth just joined us. Good on you, mate. Good on you. Thanks, Manny. Now I've got to update my thing. Checks there.
First world problems.
Matt Brown's there. The Sean Johnson Music's there. The breathalyzer. I drove through a breathalyzer during the week. I think I say that almost every time I see him anyway. Keith in Watford, big hello to you, mate. One of our channel members as well. And the electronic composer. I think we've got a new member. Or a new lurker anyway. Big hello to you. He goes, or she goes, hello. So do tell us where you're from and what your kind of caper is, whether you're a performer or what type of synth you've got. Wow, we got £20 from the puppy fund. Big thanks, mate. Thanks, Kenty.
Yeah.
Good on you, bud. You don't have to do that, mate. That's so nice of you. Marky's there saying hello to everyone. And Wagoo, big hello to Wags and Kosh Dukai. And Wagoo is one of our patrons, so, and also probably one of the original members as well. We've got Void 101. Have we had Void 101 before? I think we might have had him one or two shows before. I don't know. Tell us if you're new anyway. That's always good. And I think I saw Jamie Geosynths there too.
Yeah,
so
Jamie's here.
Big hello to Jamie. Jamie's been on the show before. A while back, though. A long while back. Anyway, and Jamie's got his own channel, obviously you guys probably know, and he does the EMOMs up in Blackpool, which Daren's been to. Paul Holmes is there. Homegrown, big hello to you, buddy. And I'm pretty sure I've just about got everyone. Man with beard I didn't get. Who else? Probably about it for now. Anyway, if I've missed you, I do apologise, but I've probably got to about the point where it's going to scroll off the screen and we can't fix it from where I left off. I sort of lose my place and I might be repeating who I've said hello to. But anyway, I do hello to everybody else. That covers it. Awesome.
Hey, speaking of the color yellow, I'm seeing that yellow cap in the pool a lot, winning lots of medals. So
yes.
The team's doing pretty well.
Olympics.
Yes.
We should talk about the Olympics, but why don't we wait till after this segment, because there might be something in here that like triggers all of us.
Memes.
Okay.
There we go.
Yes.
Yeah.
This
Have
one
you
is
seen this
actually a
one
blast
before?
from the past. You guys remember
Yeah.
this? I put this one in a little while ago. Now, where are we? I'm just going to fix up this so I can put Andy in.
It does look like his little modules. Yeah.
The reason why I put this one in is because there was a guy who put a meme up this week with Vangelis in it, and I just thought this was better. Only because I did it. No, it was better because if you ever know anything about his little MIDI setup it's massive. His massive MIDI setup thing that he had there, it was very convoluted, and I don't know. To me, the day when I did this in 2023. It just felt like they were just little Volkers everywhere. That's what it felt like to me. And I reckon if you did that to him, I reckon he'd love that. I reckon he'd think that'd be pretty cool. Anyway, he's watching us from the grave. Good old Vangelis. I think I had the hymn patch up before. Oh no, it's gone.
Oh, I thought you heard play something. Yeah, that sounded familiar.
The hymn patch?
Yeah.
There we go. All right,
Gotta
moving
put
right
it
along.
there.
I didn't want to do it exactly. I want to get a copyright strike. Right. David Bowie is going around the roundabout. Turn to the left. Turn to the right. Ooh, fashion.
That's funny.
Come on, guys.
We are the Goon Squad and we're coming to town.
We are the Goon Squad and we're coming to town.
Best lyrics on the planet. And a song ever.
One of the best
At least
songs
this
that
week.
Bowie ever did, I reckon. A
Yeah,
lot of people
it's
don't.
great.
A lot of
Great
people I
song.
say don't rate it, but I absolutely love that song. I remember as a kid,
Sadly, our Goon Squad never
Yeah,
left
yeah.
town, so
we used to get right off on that song. I don't know what it was about it. Speaking of getting off, if you guys were wondering how Behringer made the cat synthesizer,
yeah.
this is how it's done.
it's like the Monty Python mouse organ.
Well, the keyboard, that's a special keyboard. It's called the Feline keyboard. Right, next. Synth YouTubers trying to not say warm or organic.
I saw a few people failed this week on various channels. I thought, oops.
Does that him sound sound warm? It's not working again. Oh, jeez, that stupid bloody USB-C.
Is it gone again, is it?
That's a CS80, but that's not a CS80, is it, people? Is it digital? Ooh, maybe it is.
Yamaha CS, maybe?
Famous quotes that make no sense to people outside of Australia. So I thought I'd put this one up here because all of you non-Australians are probably thinking, what happens when you're in a bad situation and you're getting angry about something and you yell out, "Not happy, Jan!" That's the first one. That's a famous ad on TV for one of the biggest telephone books in the country.
Which doesn't exist anymore.
You guys have probably seen the game show called Who Wants to Be a Millionaire, right? I think it's I think it's all over the world with different presenters. In Australia, there's a guy called Eddie Maguire that does it. And when you want to lock your answer in, you say, "Lock it in, Eddie." And that's where that one's from. So I have an explanation for all of these. I'm not going to go through them all, but some of these are absolutely brilliant. The bottom right hand is one of my favourites, which I use all the time. Marge, the rain's here. Literally this old shack out in the middle of nowhere, and it's like desert country, red dirt in the middle of Australia, and there's kids sitting on the roof eating sweet corn on the cob, and you think it's raining. It's a great ad. Right, I think it's a good way to say that they were pretty juicy, don't you, Chris?
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
The ad worked, definitely. Is there a telling me streaming on here? There is no telling me streaming on here. That is really, really, really bad.
Yeah.
You hit the money on the head, mate.
Yours. Yeah.
Because
should have been.
It should have
I
been.
do like the rabbits.
Telling me streaming.
Yeah. Personally, the rabbits is my favourite one.
Yeah, you like the rabbits?
Yeah.
Okay. Yep.
So that Dreaming Line is popular because of you, but is it popular there? Do people actually say that?
Yeah, I think so.
Really?
Yeah, I mean, it's not something that you don't really sort of chat to people a lot about selling stuff used on eBay or Gumtree, or do you know what I mean? Like you're not really doing that a lot, but it does.
Comes out for special occasions, doesn't it, Rant?
It does, yeah, especially on this show.
When someone's really ridiculous, yeah. Is that a funny song?
I thought it was. Like, let's just post a picture of a whole bunch of boxes and not tell anyone what it's really about. It definitely hits the meme for the week.
Yeah, who would do that? Yes.
We might actually talk about that in another part of the show as well. But that definitely hits the memes, like because they're starting to do this a lot now. Let's just show a photo of boxes on a pallet and tease us. Next, what's that doing in there? What the hell is that doing? Oh, hang on a minute, quick! Damn it! You guys will have to watch the video back and pause it on that one. Favorite meme of the week, people? Let us know in chat. By the way, that was the famous. The band, the lips are getting bigger. Ooh, yeah. Anyway,
those guys.
The David Bowie roundabout's a good
The
one.
lips are getting bigger.
Roundabout, Bowie.
Yes.
Yeah, Bowie was good. Volcan,
Like
jealous.
Bowie.
Cat synth, says Mac.
Wow.
Yeah.
Cleo will love that.
Yeah, Cleo would have loved it.
Cleo does improv though.
I think Bowie's got it, people. We're calling it. Bowie's got it.
It is the fashion.
Fashion. Daniela's jumped into a Zoom.
Ooh, hello.
Let's get her sorted out. Audio. All right, now let's see if I can get Daniela to pop in down the bottom here. Daniela, have you got your camera working? Because I can't see it yet. Not yet. Not yet, she says. Guest number 3, you can go in that spot. Boom. What about your audio? Is your audio working, Daniela? Neither. I can't see any VU LED. She's definitely in Zoom. She's just probably trying to sort it out. Anyway, let's get her sorted out when we can. She's in the bottom corner if she does decide to pop in. So that's all good. Right. Shall we go into the next segment? Daniela, we're just going to do news, so hang tight.
Yep. And Andrew.
Zoom, if you could, Andrew, Brooksy, if you can. We do have a vMix slot if you want it, but Zoom would be better because it's easier for me to get in there at the moment. Anyway, welcome to, the slowest leaking synth of the century, the Moog Muse. Yeah, we all know about it. We all knew about it. Everyone saw pictures of it. It's finally here! Hooray! The crowd goes wild. Okay, so I thought what we'll do in this show, instead of me talking about it, I'll offer my opinions and stuff like that. Daniela's sharing a screen. What is she sharing here? She's sharing her Unify screen. Okay, Daniela, I don't know if you want to be sharing your screen. Anyway, I'll just let her know. I want to go across to you guys. So chatties and video guys and girls, let us know your thoughts on the Moog Muse, and who wants to introduce it out of you 3 there? Does any of you guys want to introduce? I've never done that before, but who knows a little bit about it? Feels like they've got most of it covered. Wants to introduce it?
I just know some fun facts that Jex has talked about. That's kind of fun. No one else is really mentioning. So,
would you want to do that?
I could. I'm just going to read off this thing. I don't have it memorized. So.
You just need to bring up the teleprompter.
Yeah, not scintillating exactly, but it is interesting stuff he put together in a little post.
Okay.
This is probably a synth that I may never be able to afford. It's kind of.
It's
I was thinking the same thing, Rance. Even though it's very affordable for a Moog, it doesn't make it.
Was this the one they just done before they moved over, before they were bought out or taken over, or because this had been in the pipeline before then, wasn't it?
Yeah, this is 95% done before when they got bought out by InMusic.
Yeah. I just want to read one thing to you guys. It's written on them. You guys will all have read this if you've been to the Moog website, right? But I just found this. I mean, this is probably just marketing talk. I found this interesting. The Muse represents a melting pot of classic Moog designs paired with forward-thinking controls in one complete instrument. We've selected the very best of vintage Moog circuits to create the Muse, inspired by the Moog Voyager oscillators, the MF102 ring modulator, which I think Kent was telling us last week that's actually a Bode circuit. The CP3 mixer, which is a Bob Moog circuit, I believe. The 902 VCA, which is another Bob Moog design, I believe. And the 904A filter, which is another Bob Moog based design. So obviously that originally was his filter. So the 900 series stuff in there is obviously from their modular world. The Voyager oscillators I thought was interesting. Now I'm not going to offer my opinion or anything like that. I'm only just
Did you say it was inspired by, or it is actually those?
Inspired by.
Yes.
So I
right.
don't think they could. I mean, electronically speaking, it would be very difficult for them to put. I don't know how many. It's got eight voices, right? So it would have 2 oscillators per voice. So there'd be 16 Voyager oscillators in there. That would probably be. It'd be easy to do that, like just whack them in.
Yeah,
but then
it's just when people say inspired by, it's quite a way.
It's a stretch.
Sort of
Yeah.
way of,
yeah,
Is that a weasel word? Yeah.
it's a stretch. All right,
I mean,
why don't we?
My music's inspired by a lot of things, but it's nothing like it.
Now, Danielle, I don't know if you know this, but you're sharing your screen, and if that's what you want to do, that's fine. You can do that. What we're going to do though is we're going to go across to here, and I'm going to add Brooksy and Daniela in underneath. Thanks for joining us too, guys. That's awesome. So there's Daniela's screen. She hasn't said no. So, and there's Brooksy. And then when we put the chatties underneath. Oh, we got Wilfred.
Hello.
Let's just check Wilfred out before we add him to the show, because I want to make sure that we haven't got.
And even for live streams, I don't know. You can see me now in the stream.
You're about to come in, mate. Just give us 1 sec, Wilfred.
Yes.
Just give us 1 second, mate. You're about to come in. Yeah, there you are.
Okay. Yeah.
Hey.
Okay. I'm sitting in the kitchen and recover the new library of Daniela.
Yeah.
It's an electric guitar library, and it's open source. So at the moment, we have around 200 songs included. This means 200 real guitar sounds in a rack. And this rack is compiled by Guitarix. You can search in Google Guitarix. It's only Linux. But there is a compilation, and I need some help, some programmer I'm looking, because we have the code. And the code I put in the Discord just. You can look the code. And someone who compile me some binaries. And just to compile me some binaries.
All right. So what you're saying is, let me just recap. If you jump into Discord, I just put the link on the screen before for Discord. In the general chat, Danielle's posted in a link to GitHub, and she's after someone to help compile the binaries for the VST code.
Yes, because I have some mistakes in compiling. But this is the original code of the MIT license project. So what you get, you can forget any native instruments plugins for guitars. The code is done by a German. Guitarix is done by a German. Oh, Daniela comes from the background. Wait, I give you a few.
Hi, Daniela.
Okay.
Hi.
Okay. So at the moment, I make one thing ready. For this will be a combined library. So we have a plugin. It's a guitar rack. And you get incredible sounds and can forget at least the guitar rack from native instruments. You don't need it anymore. Because
echo.
These sounds are so realistic to the...
It's coming from Jamie.
Oh, I have an echo.
Yeah, it's all right. I fixed it.
Okay, good.
Yeah, it's still coming from Jamie.
Whatever.
All right, so can we can I just grab the show back here for a sec? Thanks for sharing that with us.
Sure.
We're in the middle of doing our news segment, so if we get a chance, we can come back and visit this. We are in the middle of talking about the Moog Muse synthesizer that's just been released.
It was planned a little bit later, and I can prepare a little bit more.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay.
All right, but stick around if you want to. Stick around.
Yeah, I stick in the chat and will check to show you something.
No worries.
Okay.
Perfect. Okay, now I've got another spot that I can squeeze someone in below there. I might actually move Brooksy up to that spot because Brooksy's kind of like one of the
That's right.
one of the original
OGs.
divs.
Hey, JB.
One of the OG.
Fine, thanks, mate. You?
How are you, Jamie?
Hey, Jamie.
I'm good. I'm
Good,
good,
Jamie.
thank you very much. Yeah. I'm hot. It's hot as hell in here at the moment.
Yes.
Yeah, God, it's too hot.
Yeah.
Better than it has been, though.
Yeah. How are you, Ranzee?
Yeah, I'm good, mate. Good to see you again.
Yeah.
Haven't-
It's been a while.
Yeah, you haven't. We've both been sort of. Oh, what's that doing? We've both been doing crazy stuff. And
I've been on a break for a while, so
yeah, I heard. So I hope
Yeah.
everything's going well for you, mate.
yeah. Enjoying the break.
Yeah. I mean, Daren's obviously filled us in with when he's done, the Blackpool EMOM, and I mean, I've been watching the videos that you do from there, and I'm just absolutely amazed. You must be, it must be so much work that you do, but it's just incredible the amount of stuff that you've been able to bring some of these artists to the world, and it's really, really amazing, mate. So I just wanted to say that it's been noticed, and well done for doing that too.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I mean, the artists, the amount of people that have been on, many of them here, it's blown me away. Absolutely blown me away. But yeah, it is a lot of work, and a lot of it is down to the venue of, getting there and being able to set up. And where we were the last time, the manager was moved, and the new person, well, we didn't get on. So, and then we looked at where this guy had moved to, and it just wasn't suitable. So I've been trying to look around other places, but there's always issues like, place looks great. It's got PA already, so I don't have to look around, but then there's no parking because it's Blackpool. So,
Right.
you know what I mean? It's a nightmare, during the season anyway. So I'm still looking. It'll come back. It'll come back at some point. But yeah, just for now, I've just had to rein things in a little bit of everything I'm doing. So
Fair enough, mate.
but yeah, this is the first time I've come on a stream for, oh god, it's got to be a few months now. So
Yeah. Oh, it's good. It's really good to see you, mate.
Try
And-
my mug again.
Yeah, absolutely. We love seeing your mug. Absolutely. Right, let's turn it all back. Where were we going with the Moog Muse? Were you ready, Andy, to talk about the?
Yeah, I was
the
just going
points?
to talk about a couple of things that Jex
Yeah.
has pointed out that no one's really talking about. I'm sure Lupop maybe mentioned, but I haven't seen his video on it. But he just made a few fun points in somebody's chat somewhere. Talking about the LFOs don't have just the normal shapes; they can do complex shapes, which is interesting because that's kind of unique, especially for something that's more flagship vintagey kind of thing. Also, there's a wave mixing feature for the VCOs. That's a little slider, and you can go easily between pulse, triangle, and saw at your leisure, as well as send signals to control that, which is clever. I think it's not just a knob; it's actually a little slider thing. You can do a lot of generative behavior in the sequencer with chance, probability, all that kind of stuff. So that's unusual for Moog, except for the new Mother style one, which I dropped the name of the one. What's the new one called? Labyrinth, yeah. So Labyrinth has that feature, but before Moog didn't really have some of that stuff. Maybe the Moog one does it, I don't know. Never owned one of those. There's the sequencer can do special timbre addressing, so you can choose how you want to route some of the timbres on there. That was interesting. And mod matrix, so you can change the sine, square into other new sounds, as well as some envelopes and aftertouch tweaks and things like that. I thought that was kind of cool. Mixer allows you to bring in the slider of the overload, so you get that classic pass-through overdrive thing, which is kind of nice. They put it in the little mixer section. And also the delay is more like a vintage digital delay, so you can do a lot more stuff than a typical bucket brigade. Getting pretty wild on some of the behaviors with the multi-tap delay and fancy chorusing and other kinds of stuff. So it was a nice little list he put together of stuff that I didn't hear a lot of other people talking about, kind of put in a little nutshell. So
Beautiful. Good work.
Yeah.
Good work. I'll just take that little mini one of you off. There we go. Awesome. Who else wants to have a chat about? We're just chewing the fat about the Muse. So we've seen a whole week of people doing videos on it, and I guess we're kind of full bottled, right? We some of us probably want to get one in our hand. Some of us may not, whatever. But we all have opinions. Let's have a listen to what your opinions are. Who wants to go next?
Can I ask a favour, Ranzee?
Yeah.
In Zoom, can you get it so that we can see you guys rather than this screen from Daniela? Because I've got us at the top, tiny little thing, and then I've got a.
Let me see. Let me try and see if I can get this work, because I don't have control of the Zoom app unless I'm in the Zoom app myself. But you guys should be
sharing thing. So
you guys should be getting this, but I think I can control it to be. Where are we? Because it's showing. Yeah, okay, I see what it's doing. It's showing hers. Got it. Give me a sec. Let me just get the link happening. Oh, come on, computer. Wake up.
Yeah, that's better. Hi, Jamie.
Hi, mate.
Good to see you, fella.
You too. See, you're still all streamlined.
All there, yes. Yeah.
All right, so.
Yeah, that's better.
That's the main one there, right? Now, how do I do it? Reclaim host, I guess. Reclaim as a host. And then make that one. So are you seeing that now, Brooksy?
Yeah, we got you. Yeah.
Okay, good.
Sorted
so
it.
I'll just have to kind of click on it if we need to. All right, beautiful. All right, who wants to go next with the Moog Muse part? Who wants to comment on that?
also check out the Myline Melodies demo. His is excellent.
It was actually. That was a really good demo.
Yeah,
it's very good. It goes into places others don't. It's probably from the modular world that it comes from as well that sort of really helps.
Has yours arrived yet, Jamie?
You all right?
Has yours arrived yet?
Yeah.
It's got to be there, that's why.
Dun, dun, dun.
Yeah, okay. Ask a silly question.
Yeah, well, yeah, there is that a little bit, but yeah, no, well, it's a cracking synth. Yeah, definitely. It's because obviously I've got a Moog 1 and I've done loads and loads of banks for it and all that type of stuff, and I've got a matriarch and grandmother and a load of other stuff. And to me, it's a polyphonic matriarch. What the matriarch should have been. It's borrowed quite a lot from the Moog 1. In terms of its modulation and so on, and just the sort of functionality, some of the things, sound-wise, I don't hear the Moog 1 in it. I hear a polyphonic matriarch really, and it's bolder. It's a lot bolder than the Moog 1. The Moog 1 can be you can do some bold sounds, yeah, but it's a bit smoother. This thing's right in your goddamn face, and yeah. So far, I've only sort of done like a handful of patches, but Manny last night, who was on President's Network, and he was demonstrating some of his patches because he did a load of the factory patches. So if people haven't checked that out as well. The stream last night, which was really, really good.
It was excellent. Yep. Yeah. Now, Jamie, I when when they first announced the Muse, and it wasn't called the Muse, we just knew there was a polyphonic Moog coming out. You guys remember the leaks that were coming. I heard a rumor that it was going to be along the lines of a polyphonic sub 37, subsequent 37, but with a twist, with a bit of extra, bells and whistles. Now you've got it. Do you feel it's got a bit of that subsequent 37 sort of hybrid in it? Do you think or do you feel like it's more like the Voyager, that sort of style?
Yeah, I mean, its heritage, obviously, from what they've said, it is from the Voyager, and you certainly hear that with the oscillators because they're very bold. Of course, like a lot of Moog stuff, as you introduce, resonance, you lose a lot of that sort of gain from the low end. It does follow that a little bit, though they do have this overload circuit. So in a degree, you can kind of bring that in to compensate. Yeah, I'd say the DNA follows through the Voyager and Grandmother Matriarch rather than, say, like a Mini Moog or a Moog One.
Nice.
Yeah, and that's great for me. I don't want another Moog One, Moog One Lite. It's like I say, it's just got a bolder, more raw kind of tone, and it's probably as well because it doesn't have 8 billion different effects because the Moog One have all even tide and all that sort of stuff, which is a great playground. But just dealing with the delay here, which is very extensive. I mean, I'm only just scratching the surface with what it can do, but it has its own sound that I'm finding so far. And you can do things, you can push it into sort of digital territory if you like, but it just has that rasp, which was maybe a little bit difficult to put through with the Moog One, mainly probably because it had to stick 16 voices through the mixer section on that thing. So, but yeah, this is it's definitely got a nice, lovely sound, and I don't know if you can hear that.
We can.
Yep, we can.
I'll play a little something.
I think it's going through his noise projection filter.
He's getting gated off. Yeah.
Jamie, I think you might have the
noise cancellation.
The noise cancellation on your Zoom settings.
Oh well, I won't play anything.
We can definitely hear it, but it's just kind of cutting in and out because of that stupid Zoom setting.
Any better now?
Oh, that's much better.
Yeah, that's it.
Well, this thing anyway, it's a simple patch, but what you've got, the LFO sections, they've borrowed a lot of the things from the Moog One. On the Moog One, they call them VARs, but they're essentially these functions. And I suppose the nearest thing would be something like maths in the modular world. So it brings in these things. So you have your source, your destination, you have your controller in between, so you can bring it in via a mod wheel, but then it has these little functions that, multiply or whatever. As well as the LFOs themselves have these various custom things. So this was one sound using it. Which is a lovely tone, especially because you have this little macro knob, which can go to multiple destinations, and that was just slowing down the LFO sort of speed. So you get these unique things that you don't really get in other sort of polysynths, really. But yeah, I'm just trying to find my way really with it at the moment. Just getting used to it. Muscle memory. Once that happens, I'll be happy then.
That's fantastic. Thanks for showing us. We can hear ourselves again through you. So
yeah. Yeah.
We might have to switch back to the other setting.
Yeah, no, it's right. It's musicians mode. I think that was the issue.
Ah, beautiful. Well, I mean, I had no idea you had one, so that was just a complete,
nice reveal.
Nice big prezi for me. That was amazing.
Yeah, that's great.
That's cool.
There's a few people in
what I
chat
do.
that say that I'm getting one too.
Yeah. No, I reckon it's going to sell by the bucket load. And people have been saying, they've been asking me, what about the Trigon? And for me, I've never heard the Moog sound in the Trigon sets at all. It has a ladder filter, but that's about as far as it goes. Sound-wise, it doesn't. So, and I know from what I do in terms of, the sound design aspect, what synths sell well, which ones don't. And this thing, the Muse, is going to buy bucket loads, definitely.
In Australia, for those who do watch the show in Australia, it's around, street prices around about 6,800, 6,700, somewhere around there, Australian dollars. So halve that if you're in the UK. I think that's probably about the same price as what you guys are paying in the UK. You're probably paying around about the 3.8, 3.7, 3.8, in terms of
It's actually
pounds.
about 3K.
Yeah, it's
About 3K.
299.
Does that include your VAT as well?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So we might be paying a bit of an Australia tax on the shipping, I think, there.
Yeah, you have to use both
heavy
your kidneys.
beast, so yes,
Exactly.
Well, you could fit several kidneys in that thing. It weighs enough.
Yeah.
Sure.
We are literally just probably at the biggest crossroad in history with the amount of polysynths that we've got access to. It's incredible at the moment, isn't it?
Polysynth
quality ones.
Armageddon, yeah.
Yeah, it's impossible to make a choice, because I am actually thinking of getting a good polysynth. I mean, the only polysynth that I really have to speak of is the 20-odd years old Supernova sitting up here, and that's really showing its age a bit. It still works, nothing wrong with it, but so I was looking at it. I mean, I was at Gear Fest a couple of weeks ago. I absolutely fell in love with the TE05, but it's got limitations. The keyboard size and the 5 notes of polyphony. Then there's the UDO ones, the Super 8. I was thinking, now that could be, I might be able to. And then this has come out. And now this has come out. And if I'm really going to spend big bucks on something, then it's become really difficult. It's become really difficult now to say, to pin it down and go, this one or that one for this reason or that reason. But, should I be able to work the magic? This one might just win out because of the 5-octave keyboard and the 8-note polyphony, well as that sound.
And it's $3,000, which I think is kind of good. That's kind of a good price for a Moog anyway.
I think from knowing your sound as well, Andy, how you work and how you build up, it would be the massive icing on the cake for your sound, because your sound is very raw and it comes over a PA especially, really, it's in your face. So and this synth is so
take that, slap.
It is like that. It is, yeah. It's bugger when you do it in stereo, because it's like, but it worked well. I reckon that's this sound would definitely work better for your with what you do. I reckon anyway.
Take that definitely on board.
Yeah, I think over the next few weeks, people are going to be putting it through its paces with all the different features that it's got. Because I was looking at the list of things that it's like you were just saying, Jamie, about some of the modulation stuff, and it's kind of funky. I like that. I mean, that was one of the things that kind of got me back in the day when I bought my Sub 37, because of the way Moog developed the modulation on that. It was quite groundbreaking for a mono synth to have all these modulation sources. And I mean, now we look at it and we think, oh, that's nothing, but back in the day when that came out, that was huge. And I think I feel like some of the synths don't do it well, like modulation. They do their matrix and it's menu divey and it's kind of convoluted, and that they're probably relying on software to do all that sort of tricks. But a lot of this stuff is digital, but if they have good user interface design about it, and they know what players want, that actually improves the experience as a synth player. It doesn't detract from it. So how do you feel, Jamie?
Function.
Do you feel like that assigning modulations and stuff like that is that kind of a breeze for you?
It is actually, yeah. It's because they have followed the way that they've done it on some of the other products that they've got, and like I said, they've taken things from the Moog one. So, but like other synthesizers, Dave Smith stuff at sequential, you hold your source down and twiddle for the destination, so you get those kind of quick shortcuts, and each section has like these separate buttons at the top, little tiny buttons, and they're like they're called more buttons on the Moog one. I don't know what they call them on this here, but it's like a separate kind of menu. And luckily, it's not full of stuff. So you're not going all through the Moog one. Definitely, there's tons and tons of stuff to tweak around. But I suppose they've done it because they've had to add those kind of extra sort of functionality. But on the front panel, you can make sounds without really going into any menus. You can just, it's quick. I'm finding it's quite quick just to make, sort of sounds which would require going into a mod matrix quite a lot. And while there is a mod map on here, like I say, with those kind of shortcuts that you've got, it's very quick, and especially the modulation oscillator over in the sort of left-hand section is brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. It's all up on top. It's like I say, it's like what a matriarch poly should have been. Nothing against the matriarch. Matriarch sounds great, but it's very quick. I don't think anyone would have any sort of issues making their own sounds on it and sounds that they enjoy. It's not one of those synths where you really have to work hard to get kind of movement. Most analog synths are pretty much okay. Rev 2, Prophet 8, you have to sort of create a lot of movement from offsets and fixed offsets and randomized and all that kind of things. People call it like a vintage, modeling or something like that, but it's just offsets and things like that. But a lot of analog stuff, you don't need to really do that because it's alive, and these are alive, these oscillators. Definitely. Not quite got used to the filtering aspect because it's got a sort of low high pass as the first filter in the series, which is a bit odd because sometimes it's the other way round. But yeah, it's sounding pretty good actually. Yeah, must admit. Oh yeah, it's definitely a good purchase and it's something. Yeah, it's $3,000, but you'll still have it in 10 years. So there it is.
Yeah. Well, they're saying that the filter is the 904A, and what you just described to me is kind of the characteristic of the 904A. So if you've ever used a Moog modular system, that's kind of, in a way, it's kind of the shortcomings of that control of that filter. It's very, very standard Moog ladder, sort of what you'd expect, right? But there is the shortcomings of it, so it probably doesn't have as much variety or variability as some of the other filters that you can get on the market. That might have been a choice, that they've decided to do. They might have been, for their sound that they wanted it to go through that filter for a reason. Which, we said before in the memes, don't say warm, don't say...
And then something comes along that you
but
can't
here we go.
use any other
We're
adjective.
Gonna say it.
It's reserved for very special things, I guess.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's not cold. It's not sterile.
Yeah. Yeah.
Talk about what it ain't. Yeah.
Yeah. With the two filters, do they work in both parallel and serial like they do with the Moog one, or are they linear?
No, you can work them together. You can work them in series. First of all, that's the default, and then you can have them as stereos. So one filters for the left, one filters for the right. You have that kind of bias within the matriarch, a bit like that, to be honest. And then you've got parallel, and parallel, you're treating. You can kind of see it in a way like you're layering. That's how I utilize two different filters. I see them as layering. That's how I sort of program them. And with that, you can get some nice swirly kind of sort of sounds. I made this this stringer synth sound. If you don't mind, I'll show this one.
It's almost got a phase or effect on that with those filters swirling.
Yeah, because the first one is the high pass. It's still in series, but it's a high pass, and then the low pass. You're modulating them differently, and of course you could because you've got an envelope amount for each one. Each of the filters, you could have one as a positive and the other one as a negative. So you get like sort of sound falling down. And then another one coming up while that one drops down, and you get this little
staging.
You get that swirliness going there.
Beautiful. That sounded awesome,
you
mate.
rely on using effects, really.
Effects without having to have effects.
Exactly.
Yeah, I think this. I think a lot of people are starting to sort of notice this synth as a lot better than they were expecting when they were seeing all these leaks and things like that. I don't think they were expecting it to be as good as this. That's kind of the impression I'm getting after watching all the shows this week and where we've got to now, and hearing it. Even just with you playing it, Jamie, it's kind of just reassuring me because I've heard lots of people play it on YouTube, and it just every single time it just impresses me.
I think a big part of the deal is they ask for external ideas. They got Jexus and a bunch of other people involved in the development process, and that makes a huge difference instead of being so insular and having the same old crap that Moog churns out over and over again, right? So it's
you can definitely see a difference with this polysynth to other things Moog have done. It does seem to be, and it seems to have had quite a long gestation period, which I think shows. Sometimes companies will sit on something for a long period, but this one really looks like it was, marinating the ideas down. Certainly, that's what a lot of the people who were testing seem to suggest, that they were involved from the very early stages and consulted at many different points.
Fantastic. Okay.
Nobody's mentioned the Moog Rogue faders on the envelopes, though. They're just like the ones on the Moog Rogue and the Liberation.
with the circular caps.
That's one of the things that catches my eye straight away. Really like those.
What? There was something else that has that came out more recently.
Cat.
More recently than that even. No, I'm trying to think what it was. I've actually got it here. I'm just trying to think what it is. So it's got the circular caps on the faders. I actually don't mind it because when you're actually touching them, you're kind of rolling your fingers off of them.
Yeah, they kind of slip underneath your finger.
Yeah, it's kind of a nice feel. Yeah, I mean we're so used to those rectangular knobs on the on the faders, and this is just not everything's got to have rectangular knobs or circular knobs and things like that, but it's just nice to see.
It's just said no, it's worse. They're Polymoog fader caps. yeah, definitely a nod there.
Yeah. Wait till we get to the price watch segment. All right. I think it's probably time we went on to the next product. Now, the next product you guys will recognize as being the box that I showed in the meme section earlier, which is Behringer's RS-9. This thing is a eurorack module for those who can't recognize it. It's actually, basically, it's a TR-909 in Behringer's remade RD9. Now it's made into an RS-9. So you're going to get relatively, not every single functionality of the RD9 or the TR-909, but it's eurorack format. I like the sort of old-fashioned push buttons and that. They are shipping. I believe. Does
it have sounds, or is it just a gate sequencer?
No, it's a sound generator. It's got sounds in it, from what I believe. Yeah. So,
so triggers and sounds. Yeah.
There's a few stores that are showing it around the world. If you kind of Google it, you'll come up with. There's one I found in Poland that's selling it, and they wrote on their store that is 10 individual outputs with full USB MIDI controlling allow you to trigger any external drum module. The RS-9 has song mode, probability, random, accent, step, repeat, mode, repeat, swing, and many other solutions known from modern sequencers. So you might be right, Brooksy. Maybe it doesn't have sounds.
Yeah, well, Wagoo's just said it's just a sequencer, not a sound source.
Right,
so.
There you go. I always thought it had sound. Yeah.
Should be. I mean, well, they talk about the style of programming with the 16 steps
disappointing.
TR sequencing. So this is kind of should have been called the TR9 or the TRS-9 or something.
Well, it does say sequencer on it. That was probably a giveaway on there. But
it does say
I think that's
sequencing,
disappointing. Don't you think that's a bit disappointing?
I kind of expected to have both, but at the price point, it's probably a bit more reasonable. Yeah, there's a lot of drum sequences out there in Eurorack land. It's kind of a little bit, I mean,
you can achieve.
What's new here?
You can achieve a lot of that with other sequences already. That's already there.
Yeah.
In Eurorack and out of Eurorack.
Yeah.
The Pittsburgh one, that same form factor, is really cool, but I haven't used it that much. But you can turn sounds into rhythm sounds by chopping them and stuff. It's very clever. Wagoo
wants to trigger stuff, so he's happy about it. Cool. Well, he's not triggered at all.
What's the price range? Do we know yet?
149, I thought, but that could be wrong.
US.
Yeah, US.
Okay, well that's pretty cheap. So I guess it's the kind of thing where it's like it does triggering, that's fine.
Before my
it's only 150.
Before my internet dropped, I was about to say I wonder if they're thinking of bringing out sound modules as well. Perhaps our sound, perhaps our drum module.
Yeah.
It not having sounds for me isn't an issue because at the minute I've been looking at my rig and I've got the Euclidean circles trigger sequencer, but actually in reality that's only you've only got the patterns that it sort of comes and you can adjust it slightly with the start end. And I've got
bit limited.
I've got triggers in the PAMs, and I'm looking at my Her mod, and I've wired in all the audio so that it's going to where I want to do the CV and gate for the melodic-y sounds, and I've now got 4 gates left, and it's like I was thinking, I could really do with more trigger sequencer type things just for patterns, and then having pitches coming random from else. So I mean, this actually might be a really good little addition.
Step is really good and much smaller too.
Yes,
I mean, who's got a Behringer RD9? Who's got one? Because the sequencer is predominantly going to be the same. So you guys are happy with that sequencer if you've got one?
Yeah, that's a TR style of
that's what I would assume. Yeah.
TR style, but with extra Behringer added bits. Yeah.
I had one, but I'm absolutely naff at programming drums. So
I'm the same.
It went on eBay, and I had the original the 8, RD8, the first one, and that because it was brand new, one of the first releases or whatever, first batches. It didn't have any patches on it, no patterns. I think I did 2, and they all sounded like late 80s house, and that was about it. So
Nothing
we've
wrong with
all
late
done
80s
it.
house.
Nothing wrong with that.
We've all done it. That's a rite of passage.
Trouble is,
Taking
that's
those
all I
patterns.
can do. So yeah, that went as well.
So are the 8 and the 9 similar in the sequencing side? Because I've got
Yeah,
the
they are,
RD8. Okay. I don't mind it. It's not bad. I mean, obviously it's the same as the TR, but I feel like the added Behringer things in it weren't bad. They were pretty useful. Some of those extra, more modernized features that they put in there.
Well, you want to have something, wouldn't you?
Mm.
In this day and age.
Yeah. Look, it might be. It looks like it's a pretty wide module.
Yeah, it takes up a lot of HP, and yeah, it's like I'm not unless you're a huge fan of the big fat buttons. It's not. You're not gonna. Not sure if I'm going to fall in love with it. I kind of think what Andy SynthAddict says about there being other alternatives that are possibly smaller.
Yeah, all shapes and sizes.
More efficient, which might be more attractive to me. But,
That price I mentioned
still,
before,
it's still the price. It's just,
149.
gets it
I
around
mentioned
quickly,
right?
doesn't it?
That was pounds. Sorry,
Yeah,
not
That's what I thought,
US. So it's probably a little bit
so
more.
about
Probably
250,
160, 170.
300,
Yeah. It's about 300 Aussie dollars, 350 Aussie dollars, or if you're in Poland, it's 879 Polish. How do you say it?
Zlotys.
Slotties.
Slotties.
There you go.
or you can get two tags on
Sorry
a
for
cabbage.
butchering the Polish language on the national stream.
Yeah. Fair enough. Okay, well, slight disappointment for me, but other than that, let's move on. So we know they're shipping now. This is another kind of second suck of the sav, as we say in Australia. This is the Bastl Softpop SP2, and Bastl have brought out basically just a reskin of this, and I just thought, I don't know, do you guys remember this? I got a little video.
They must have added some features though, right? Did they
No new features. It's literally just cosmetic. So they've got a glowing
wow.
knob for Daren.
Daren likes his Bastl.
Yeah.
And some
Exactly.
artwork.
It's gonna be.
But this is
the fact that I brought some features out.
it's a little bit of a take it down memory lane. Isn't that awesome? Right. Well, you can have your custom 3D printed knobs and the Heatwave edition for the Softpop 2. It's about €507 without VAT. If you guys are interested in getting it, they're available now in the shops. I kind of remember this thing, and I thought to myself, I wouldn't mind showing it again because I thought it was a pretty cool little, as Daren says, park bench compatible. Bastl are like probably the leaders in park bench compatible products.
They are the leaders, yes. They need to actually make a series that's just got PPC in it.
Now, if you didn't think that was enough to you to go onto the Bastl website and buy it, it does come with a free license of Bitwig Studio 8 track. So Bitwig Studio 8, which is kind of a little bit like, I mean, if you guys remember, Bitwig is kind of like some of the Ableton guys went across and made Bitwig. So if you kind of like Ableton, but there's things about Ableton you hate, maybe you might like Bitwig, and maybe getting
It's like soft modular too. Yeah.
getting a Softpop 2 might be the way to do it. I don't know. Thoughts on the Softpop people?
I had a play on one, Synth East, and I enjoyed it. It's got a really nice, raw, fuzzy, buzzy sound. Didn't really get my head into, how it's doing or what it was doing, but it was just fun to mess about with. I think 500 quid's a lot of money, though.
Yeah. Boutique company.
Agreed.
Well, indeed. And the people from Bastl are lovely. I will chuck that in. They're really nice folk.
Yeah. They're really energetic, aren't they, the Bastl guys?
Yeah.
They love getting behind, all the things that they do. They've got that art sort of side of them. Do you know what I mean? Like everything's got an art side to it. It's not just music, instruments, electronics. It's they bring the art into it, which I think is kind of nice. Other people.
Well, their old videos from Music Mess and Superbooth were a lot of fun because they made like weird apparatus to show all their stuff with triggers and things hanging from strings, and they're just kind of fun, wacky guys.
Yeah.
But cool. I have a lot of their stuff, but I don't have this one. I tried it at Perfect Circuit. Tried the original Perfect Circuit. It was fun, but it wasn't something I wanted to get. I like the Casper Bit Ranger better. The Bastl Casper combo Bit Ranger. That was a lot more fun, I think.
Awesome. All right. That is that. And there's one more thing to show you before we get off onto other segments. And that is another release from AMSynths. I mean, I don't show you all their releases, but I thought this one was kind of similar to what we showed the previous. It's kind of like an add-on module to something that's already out there. Now, if you guys remember Behringer making the 2500 modules for Eurorack, and the sequencer that's part of the 2500 that they brought out is the 1027, and the 1027 sequencer only has, if I remember rightly, 8 steps or 8 tracks in it. And I think the original 2500 had 10.
Yeah.
So this kind of then brings you back into that sort of world. You could buy 2 of these and you could have your 10. I do have a little video from Rob from AMSynths, and we can go check it out. Oops. Go bigger. There we go.
Oh, hello.
Welcome to the AMSynths studio. Today we're going to look at the AM1028 sequential bolts module, which provides an extra column of control voltages for the Behringer 1027 sequencer. This 8 HP wide eurorack module connects to the rear of the Behringer 1027 sequencer using the included 30cm or 60cm 12-way ribbon cable. The module has 3 voltage outputs. The left output varies between 0 and 2 volts, and this is intended for VCO pitch control over 2 octaves. The centre and right outputs vary between 0 and 10 volts and are intended for the voltage control of all of your modules. The Behringer 1027 module has a 12-way IDC socket on the rear of the PCB. This was always intended as an expansion port for connecting a wide range of sequencer control modules. The included 12-way ribbon cable is plugged into this socket, and the similar socket on the rear of the 1028 PCB. Let's take a look at patching the 1028 with some modules and a couple of demo sounds as well.
There we go, guys. The 1028 expansion module. And how easy is that one to do? No soldering required. Just plug in a ribbon cable on the back. I'll go back to the big 9-up display so everyone can come in. What do you guys think of these little sort of extra bits and pieces that Rob's been doing over at AMSynths to make the 2500 extra modules come to our little Eurorack cases and make them come alive a bit more?
Send him a message.
Who's sending a message?
Ach, nee. Herr Göttert, würden Sie bitte Ihren Schirm noch nicht teilen? Wir können nicht sehen.
My thoughts exactly.
Okay.
Herr Göttert, if you could just stop sharing your
I'm
screen.
I'm sorry. I just wonder. Just a second. I try. Okay. We do later.
Okay.
Is it okay?
Ja, danke.
Bitte, gern geschehen.
It was starting to look like, you know, when Windows 98 used to go wrong and all the windows went
Bits
off.
on the-
yes.
I don't know. He's got to
pop-ups.
get his computer
pop-up
and
loop,
put it up
yeah.
straight so it doesn't, not everything's falling over. All right. We could probably hide that window. I feel like it's probably not really serving us any.
Bring it
Which
back
one is it?
later.
That one there. Yeah. Let's just hide that one for now because it's not really serving us any benefits at the moment. So yeah, getting back to the AMSynths and Rob's awesomeness. Who's got the 1027 sequencer? I don't have it.
No.
I've been meaning to get one. Every time I go to order it, guess what? Not in stock.
Yeah.
Never in stock.
Yeah.
And then you run out of money because you buy other stuff, and when you want to
don't,
buy it,
yeah.
it's in stock, but you don't have any money.
Yeah.
Who's come across that problem before? Yes.
All the time.
I'll shut up.
The plight of a poor musician.
Is that stuff supposed to last a long time? They're going to keep making those modules for a long time.
Yeah,
Well, you'd hope so.
I think so.
Yeah.
I don't think they'll be making them in large numbers, though. I mean, they're not Behringer.
Yeah.
It's just the guy, the AMSynths guy. Although he worked with Behringer on their 2500 modules.
That's right. Yeah.
But even the Behringer 2500, are they limited run? Are they going to eventually stop making them? Or are they plan to have a long road map?
Who knows? Who knows?
It's Behringer.
Are they adding new? They're not adding new stuff anymore, are they?
I believe there's a couple in the making, but I'm just not sure if it's going ahead or if they've paused it or what. Okay, so what I heard is that the dual oscillator for the 2500 was going to happen from Behringer, because otherwise Rob would have made it.
Yeah.
So I'm not sure when they're going to bring that out, but that would actually be a cool little module to get because ARP actually made it, so it's a no-brainer that Behringer should recreate it. And there's another one that I can't remember what it was now, but there was definitely another one that they were going to do. I'll have to go refresh my memory with the sheet of paper that I had. So in terms of 2500 stuff, I believe Behringer have still got a couple more to come out, but I just don't know when. The 2600 stuff, I believe, is going to be the big area in eurorack. So I feel like we've already got the oscillator from the 2600 series as a single module, and I think that they're going to bring out some other modules like
it was weird
as well.
The envelope follower is the one I believe is going to be the next one coming out.
Yeah, it was weird that they just stopped with that. I was expecting them to do more as well, but it just came out in isolation, and it was like, what happened? Did I miss them? Yeah, no, I've got that one as well. So
Yeah.
I was expecting. I ended up with the 2600 filter from Feedback Modules.
Yep.
As a partnership for that, and
Which is
two kind of
inexpensive in its own right.
yeah. Classic. No, but I'm all for the stuff that he's doing with the 2500 expansion stuff. It's always quite interesting when he comes up with them, the way he arranges things. And it's quite a good idea. I like the idea of being able to expand the number of lanes almost limitlessly in a way. That could generate some interesting new ideas from people, I think. But I have to point one thing out.
How does that work?
Yeah, I have to point out one thing to you, Rance. It doesn't give you more steps.
It just gives you more columns. Yeah.
Yeah.
But you can change the tuning of each differently, right? That's
exactly.
the point.
Yeah. And the original 2500 sequencer also had, because the module itself had inputs and outputs that went to the mod matrices, the pin matrices above and below, that allowed you to control the sequencer much more. And I don't know whether there's any capability in there in that little 12-way connector to do that, or whether that's something that they didn't extend.
That was going to be my next question.
Because then, can you move from one step to another, or because then you could start doing more complicated sequence one after another type stuff like you do with the 960, the sequential switching type stuff.
You
which
can
I believe
use
the 2500 did, but
you can use the sequential switch with this.
yes,
With the 1027.
Exactly.
And also there was something else that you can use with it, and I just can't think about it off the top of my head. Oh, the 1050 module, which is the mixer sequencer. So if you, it's kind of basically you're just using the features of the mixer sequencer, but if you use those two together, you get some even more cool sort of
you get
steppy,
more steps.
sequency stuff.
Yeah, you can get more steps, and with the extra columns, you could utilize more of that. I think so. In a way, it's not obvious, but in a way, adding these plus perhaps that other module or some other switching module, you probably start getting into some more interesting territory.
How does it know what
step you're at?
Yeah.
Well, I think a lot of them just give you a signal for the last step or a signal for the first step. That was the sort of traditional way of switching logic.
I guess you could use it as a modulation source as well. That could be another benefit to it.
The other thing I'm not too sure about how it's implemented on, because I don't actually have this particular sequencer. I'm not sure how it's implemented, but the original used a ramp like voltage instead of a step, so you could actually randomly jump between steps by just changing a control voltage. So it was actually voltage mapped for the steps. So that got really confusing, because then you could start putting in oscillators into your sequencer and cause it to do things with the oscillator. And that really blows your mind when you have a look at that stuff on the 2500.
Yeah.
You'll see what kind of kooky things it could do and how it was explained, because it was completely natural to them but completely foreign to us now, because no one's ever done it's not very popular way of implementing step sequencing using an actual control voltage that just ramps to create a sequence of steps. It's quite a novel approach. Hasn't been really used since.
What I would like to have seen is the back of the 1028, because I'm guessing it's just one pin header that goes straight into the back of the 1027, but then it must have another one so that you can then daisy chain that to expand, right?
Yeah. It must have some way of.
The reason why I say that is because I believe that you're still able to use the 1050 with the 1028, because I don't know if you guys know, but with the 1050, the way that connects up to the 1027 is through that ribbon cable.
Yeah.
That's how they talk to each other. So obviously, if you had this 1028 expander, it has to be able to let you expand it even more. Otherwise, how's he got those three modules there on that?
Yeah, so unless it's just done with piggybacked ribbon cables, you have to make a fancy one.
Wigoo's mentioning it in chat, so we probably should, because he seems to know it. There you go. It's a whole ribbon cable larger than the normal Eurorack bus cable. Yeah, I know that. But you can punch multiple expanders into the same ribbon cable length.
Ah, yes.
Like there's 14 pins or whatever. Ah, okay. Got it.
Yep.
Got it.
So that's pretty much what I said, yeah. You just get a long ribbon cable and you punch in another connector where you need another column.
Got it. Yeah. What would have been nice if there was a bit of logic that was... I mean, a control voltage logic even, it doesn't have to be digital logic. Control voltage logic would have been fine. It would have been nice to have some sort of, like I said, I mean, this is pseudo steps, but they're not really extra steps, are they? You're just changing
columns,
you're changing the tuning, really. That's the only thing that you've got on it, the voltage.
Extra sequence.
Yeah.
But the sequence is unchanged, yeah.
I think Behringer did, let's just call it as it is. I think Behringer did a massively good job. I mean, obviously Rob was a massive part in doing that for them, but they did an amazing job of this whole 2500 series recreation. And if you actually look at, I think someone mentioned Toman had some really interesting sales data, and the 2500 modules sold like absolute gangbusters. They just sold out. Every time Behringer bring a shipment in, they sell out. It's so popular. So they've done well with it. and it's no brainer. I mean, it was such a good synthesizer back in its day. So it was almost like a shame that they never kept it going. And we all know what the story was, but it's a shame. But here we are in Eurorack world. That's it for news, people. Who enjoyed the news this week? Everyone going to go out, except for Jamie, because he's already got one, and buy a Moog Muse. Well, Jamie, you might want to buy two.
Not yet.
I nearly did buy two, actually, because I ordered it from Anderson's, and because I thought they're the ones that are going to have a fair few and get them in first, because they seem to get everything first. And so I ordered it from there, and it wasn't showing, and it showed up at my sort of local dealer, and I thought, am I going to get stuff there by cancelling it there, and then they sell out there? But I managed to get it swapped over, mainly because I get it from Music Matter, and they have a 3-year warranty, so which is quite unique, and it certainly became useful one time for my Waldorf Quantum. Short of about 2 weeks after 3 years, it packed in, so I had to go over to Germany and get fixed, and I didn't have to pay a penny, which was great. So I did that, and then it come the next day, really. And I'm quite enjoying it at the moment. I'm sort of feeling it out a little bit. I'm going to do some more test patches, because all these are just test ones at the moment. And then, I might get back and do a little video or two.
Well,
nice.
I think we'll all be looking forward to those.
Yeah.
Your videos are fantastic.
Yeah, great videos, yeah.
Absolutely. All right. I think what we'll do next is a bit of price watching, because there's a bit of relevance to our price watch segment this week. So let's go and hit that button. It's the cheesiest segue stinger video that you've ever seen in your life. Here we are, Moog, Memory Moog, straight into it, boys and girls. If you didn't buy a Moog one, and if you didn't buy a Moog Muse, you could get this. Memory Moog. Who wants to buy this? It's actually live on Reverb right now. It's definitely available. It's this is Australian dollars. I do apologise for those people who don't know how to convert currencies, but look, halve it for pounds, and then you can work it out from there. How's that sound?
What's that, about 200 quid then?
Yeah, exactly, mate.
Ouch.
Yeah. And a bottle of rum. Boom, boom. I used to love the sound of this thing. Like, I know this was an absolute pain in the butt, and they had trouble with tuning it and all sorts of some typical Moog issues. But I used to love the sound of this thing. A couple of famous musicians used to hate it and love it at the same time.
Well, the last time Kent fixed one and played it in the pub, it sounded glorious. Unfortunately, that pub got taken down, so you can't hear it anymore, but it sounded amazing.
Yeah, I wish they didn't take that pub down. It's a bit like my video that I never got back.
Well, somebody does something they don't want to have out there, and then he has to take it down. So,
yeah. Look, it's in. I mean, for a 1980s synth, it's in reasonable nick. Serial number 3520. I don't know if they made like that many. Did they make thousands of these? I don't know. I wouldn't actually.
Isn't that just a number of owners?
I'm not sure if it starts at one.
It's 250 owners. Yeah, because they all kept passing it on.
It's a good theory, that one. Good little conspiracy theory.
There are some mods that are done, and I think if I remember from what Kent was saying, I think is it Lamb or something like that, a Lamb memory Moog, where they sort out quite a lot of the capacitor problems and this, that, and the other, and give it does something. I don't know. I mean, Kent
Sir 1000 is he saying in chat? SER 1000.
Wow.
They are Lantronics. Yeah, LAN. Was it maybe it was LAN, not LAM? Anyway, yeah. So I think Kent's. Yeah, he did. Yes, Wagyu, that was it. Thank you.
Serial number 1000.
That's the one that Kent said had a sampled noise source, right? It's like a sample playback noise source on it.
Yeah, they all do, loop, don't they?
Yeah,
that's what it was. And the same on the what's the one with membrane buttons called? The
Oh,
Source.
Source.
The Source.
Yeah, the Source,
Yeah,
Yeah, Source had membranes.
that's
Yeah.
the same. That the noise is actually digital
it's very
noise.
funny.
The loop.
Because glorious analog, but it has sampled noise. It's hilarious.
Interesting. Anyway, that's the Memory Moog. Rush out and buy it, everybody. It's in Beverly Hills in California. So you never know.
Go on, Andy. You can drive down the road and get it.
It's close
Or
to
up the
Manny.
road,
Manny can
whichever
get
way.
it.
Don't
He's
know
right
who
down
played
the
it.
road from it.
Might be some famous people that have played it if it's in that part of the world. Next, I thought this would be interesting for you guys. This is the Sigma, the KP30. Who's had one of these?
Oh,
Obviously not.
Boom, 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 boom.
the Sigma. I played a Delta, but I've not played the Sigma.
Yeah. Which is the string synth.
String,
They're,
yeah.
they're both divide down, aren't they, from memory? Yeah.
Yeah.
This is on eBay, and it's live for $1,600 US. It's weird how some sites do keep the US currency and others convert to yours. But anyway, we'll have a look at some photos.
Yeah, that is weird.
I have a Yamaha SK20. It's close enough.
These are some of the earlier sort of Korg stuff, that some people love, and other people just think they're just glorified organs. Yeah, kind of are, kind of not. They're very interesting designs. They're very,
From an industrial design
reminds you of
point
when you
view.
visited your grandma back in the 70s and 80s.
Chunky ends there. It's like they've gone to like B&Q and got like two before and slapped them on the end.
Look at that. Look at those for controls, hey? The joystick.
But it's
Noise
it
down.
does have some kind of a filter in it, and you can switch
Is
pulse
that-
into on and off.
It's got low pass and a
I
high
forgot
pass
that
filter.
joystick. That's cool.
Yeah.
Is the right-hand joystick broken
It's-
off?
Yeah, it's
Broken,
been
it was
Or was
snapped
it meant
off.
to be like that?
No, it's snapped off.
No, it's
What
broken
a
off.
pity.
Yeah. I want a discount.
How sad.
Yeah.
All right,
About
so that's
1,300 quid discount.
yeah. That one is the KP30. Now this one would be Kent's favorite drum machine coming up. Here we go. The Roland CR78.
Shown in its natural habitat, the back garden.
Jamie, it's 18% off. It's about
All right, I'll have two then.
2,200 quid for you, bud. Okay. Deborah Harry's
Yeah.
enjoying
OMD.
playing with these. OMD, yeah.
OMD, Enola Gay.
Yeah. I think even Lloyd Cole used one of these. There you go. That's the best shot of it ever. And that one. And that one.
I wonder how many beers have been on top of that.
If only it could tell the story. If only. Yeah, so CR78, which I think is... I don't know. I don't think I've seen CR78 sell for that sort of money recently. I kind of feel like they're starting to really go up in price now. So if you guys have got one hanging around, it's probably worth hanging on to.
My local favorite shop had one for about $1,600 a few months ago. So
Yeah. By the way, none of these prices this week are scams. I don't think. I mean, you probably could argue that they might be a bit scammy, but I feel like none of them really are scammy. I feel like they're kind of where you'd expect it to be. They're still for sale, so it doesn't necessarily mean. But you could also get a Jupiter 6. Some say this is their favorite Jupiter.
Oh, yes.
God, they're everywhere on eBay. Those.
especially
That's
with
not
your
a bad
Robomod,
price, considering how much a Jupiter 8's worth, right? I know they're different. But when you think about it, they're not massively different. 2 VCOs. Obviously, smaller amount of voices and a few different things with the way the oscillators are, and you get some differences, right? But they are still a beautifully well made and sounding polysynth from Roland. That one's looking a little bit scuffy there, isn't it?
It's got wooden end cheeks rather than the aluminium
I think they did have the option, didn't they? I think they had the option for either.
I don't know. I've only
Or was
ever
it
seen
the
them with
8?
aluminium.
Was it the 8 that only had the aluminium ones? I can't remember.
Oh, I was sure the Jupiter 6 was aluminium as well. But anyway,
Yeah, you could
come on,
be
Kent,
right.
tell us about that. Not that we really need to know.
This one is available in LA as well. God, everything's in California today. They must have some synths there.
I got some of my best stuff from LA. A lot of musicians down there.
Yeah. Now, the last one, you guys are going to absolutely love this, because I think some of you have heard of it, and I reckon some of you have never heard of this before, and it's probably one of the cheesiest products that Korg ever made, and it's the Korg MR16. Yes. The cheesiest drum machine ever. Now,
Oh, wow.
have a look at this, right? So what you're looking at is basically a sound module. And let me go to this picture. It's probably better here. And I'll zoom in for you. That is not a keyboard. It's the most misleading graphic you've ever seen in your life. That is just Korg helping you to work out what keys you press on your keyboard when you plug in your MIDI controller keyboard into it so that you can actually get it to work.
Wow.
So it's like a cheat sheet.
It's a cheat sheet.
Here's your keyboard map, you know.
That's
Before they
funny.
had the little LEDs that light up in the Native Instruments controller.
I'll show you some photos, but while I'm showing you, I just want to tell you that
Warning, keyboard is not to scale.
what this is, there's 19 PCM encoded drum sounds with this. You'll hear them in a minute. I'll play a video for you. Which basically come from the DDM110 and the DDM220 drum and percussion.
They're
voices.
horrible.
Yeah, they're horrible. You'll hear it in a minute.
Sam will love them.
And let's have a look at some photos of it. Come on. Wakey. There we go. It's literally the exact same chassis as my EX800, by the way.
I thought it looked familiar.
Yeah. There's the back, though. So it did have individual outs.
Outs.
Yep.
Nice.
Which is what probably gave it a little bit less of badness.
Look at that carpet too. That's crazy.
Now, while everyone's faces in front, I thought, geez, what I might do is play you some sounds.
Okay.
From. Oh no, where did it go? Where has it gone? I've lost it. I'll get it back. Don't worry. I had a video lined up and it's disappeared on me. MR16. Here we go.
I think the cheesiest drum machine I had was my first one. I was about 18, and it was a Casio RZ1.
Yeah, I have one of those.
Interesting
down.
rim shot.
There you go.
Flat sample.
Yes.
That is your
TR505.
PCM rubbish bitrate samples that you can have on the MR16. Wow. I mean, someone's probably just grabbed the chips out of those and got the bits and chucked them as a WAV file somewhere, and you can just download it off the net. So you don't really need to.
But you run those through distortion, ring modulator and stuff, you could have a cool drum kit there.
Forget that.
I'm just imagining like
Thanks.
bass and guitar duos back in the day, you know, on stage and working men's clubs, playing that in the background while they jangled over the top. I guess that was who it was intended for, wasn't it? So
I'd love to know if the MR16 ever appeared in like a really popular song. That's what I'd like to know.
Yeah.
Because, geez, it didn't sound good at all. It does not sound good.
you should run a remix competition with it in.
Yeah.
You
That
must use these
of
samples.
that
Yeah.
period. You know, the TR range is all really well known, but I just mentioned it. But the TR626 hardly ever gets mentioned these days, and yet basically it had got the 707 and the 727 sounds in it, and it had individual outputs, and it was easy to program. It was actually a really good little box, and you could tune each sample as well, so you could make it really so dirty and crunchy. Again, it's another of those things I wish I'd still got. Why did I ever get rid of it?
They seem to move it all over to, didn't they, to their sort of sub company Boss for the drum machines. And you had
the Boss. Yeah,
was it the 660 and all
yeah,
that
the Boss DR660. I think that's what I did. I think I part exchanged it for the Boss DR660, which is a good drum machine. To be honest, it was nothing wrong. But yeah, and then of course Roland brought out all the R series, the R8, the R5.
That's right. Yeah, and your
Touch
PCM
pads
card,
and
didn't you?
things.
Yeah, Brooksy, you can get that one, and that comes especially with cigarette smoked coated buttons.
No, they just go that colour.
That's what they all do.
They do.
With the 505.
Oh, go away, Roland Cloud.
So how much was that? Oh, it's on the Roland Cloud, is it? So well, I haven't got a subscription to Roland Cloud.
It's on the Roland Cloud. If you wanted to buy one on Reverb, there are £350.
It's about what they were new.
£300 for a cheaper one, I guess. But the shipping is ridiculous, so you don't want to get that one. There's actually one, Chris. There's one in Armidale, and the one that I showed you with the cigarette smoked coated. That was the one.
Oh, really?
That really doesn't surprise us, does it?
No, not at all.
Guys, think of a suburb in your city where
with a lot of people change
the lowest quality of human beings exist.
Oh, Ranzee.
Sorry to all the Armidale people.
Ranzee.
Hey, just go to any Walmarts around here. You'll find the same kind of people.
I'm just kidding.
Yeah.
I'm just kidding.
It's all full of punks here in Blackpool at the moment. There's tons of them everywhere. It's really strange seeing people that are 70 years old with massive spiked
Thanks, Jamie.
hair and chains and all that type of stuff.
Brooksy's hanging around.
Yeah, thanks. That's right.
Armidale. Hey, Mark. Haven't seen Mark in the chat for ages. Hey, how are you, bud? You staying up late, mate?
Jim's in as well.
Jimmy boy.
James. Hey, James.
Yo, Jimmy boy.
The Gloucester.
Hey, Jim.
So earlier on before we finish, Price Watch. What did we had? The Memory Moog, we had the Korg Sigma, we had the CR78, the Jupiter 6, the MR16. Oh my God! Rush out and buy that for $400 Australian. Which one would you guys get? Or none?
The Jupiter 6.
I'm with you, Darren. The Jupiter 6, if I could afford that amount of money. But if I could afford that amount of money, I'd buy a Muse.
Yeah, true.
That's true. Yeah, you would. Yeah.
True.
Yes, indeed. Indeedy. Memory Moog would be nice, to be fair. I mean,
I live next door to Connecticut Memory Moog, so
just to say that I've got one.
Take a trip. Yeah. Take a trip down to Kent's then, because he's bound to have one in the shed somewhere.
It's honestly been a while since I bought a synth just to say that I've got one, because that sort of stuff doesn't usually happen much anymore these days.
No.
Anyway, we're gonna go back into our Saturday Sonority segment.
At which point I'm going to duck out, Rans, because I've got to get over to Rotherham. So I'm going to say thanks for having me on. Thanks for
no worries, mate. Nice to have you.
Nice to see you.
Good to have you again,
Jamie.
Yeah, and
I'll jump in again at some point soon.
I don't think it's that long.
Take care, folks.
Always good to see you, mate.
See you later.
Take care.
Like I said, Saturday. Oh, actually, we can do this. We can put Jamie.
Well, you can leave them like that with the headphones.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
Listen to this.
At least someone's listening intently.
It's like manual panning.
What is
Yes, exactly. Yes.
Yeah.
There you go. I can go to this.
Better two. Better one,
I can go to
better
this
two.
now anyway. There we go. It's better. We can squeeze everyone in. What was I going to say? Saturday Sonority segment. We talked about it at the start of the show. We are just discussing the whole idea of the healing benefits of playing with your synths and music in general. And I mean, obviously, this week for me, I know Jamie, you've had a bereavement not that long ago yourself.
Yeah. It's been a challenge for sure. Yeah.
So,
but you're right.
Did you find you got into music and that sort of helped? Is that one of your sort of outs?
Yeah. I think it did, yeah. I mean, it was like just over a year ago I lost my mother, and I did all the caring for her. And then in March, my brother, you know, so yeah, there was quite a lot of kind of going on, and I think I just like had to stop everything. And sound design has always been the thing for me. You know, that's what I do. You know, I set up in 2017 doing it. So all this other stuff, like you doing streams and all that videos, they're all like add-ons, really. And in my mind, you know, when things like that happen in your life, and it happens to all of us, you know, whether we like it or not, you know, we all have challenges. But yeah, I kind of stripped it right back, but just carried on with sound design, and you know, it's allowed me to sort of function and do what I need to do, and you know, sort of rebuild things, really. But yeah. So, but it's. I think. I mean, I've been doing this music, Jesus, back in the day. Started actually. I got into it all via DJing. So it was the late 80s and house and all that lot, and scratching and all mixing. Not scratching myself, but the record. And it was. That's how I kind of got into it. Went on a recording studio course over in Birmingham. And as soon as I walked to the studio, it was like, wow, this is it. I'm at home. And it's been with me ever since. And that's probably where I always go back to, really. And yeah, it's not necessarily music, really, just sitting there, because I rarely write any music anymore. I don't really feel the need for it, because I just sit down and make mini little sounds and then play something. In my mind, they're like mini little songs anyway, so I get the satisfaction from that.
Yeah. No, that's awesome, mate. I mean, I went through
great sounds. I bought a lot of your sounds, so.
No, thank you. It's no, I love doing it.
I just need to get a synth that Jamie's doing.
Yeah. One day, mate. One day you'll have it. Definitely.
You'll get the record deal, Daren.
I'll have one of yours.
Yeah, it's very lustful. Yeah.
Darren will get the record deal before any of us, I reckon.
As Jamie was saying, it gets
easy.
back to like just sitting and delving into creating magical sounds and things, and then in his head he create the magical sounds he's creating is like a track in his head, and I did that's sort of the same. I mean, that's sort of where the two albums that I did, the Life We Live albums, was sort of like very thoughtful and emotional type albums. That's the reason why they started, actually, those two albums, and that's why sometimes I like to go back and listen to them, like moments of that type of time, and that's where I started creating. I think sometimes when you're sad, you create some of the best things, or I do anyway. And it's just the way, I think it's just the way you let your emotions out whilst you're creating whatever it happens to be, whether it's designing sounds or even designing music.
It's kind of like you're in touch.
That's how I feel about you. Yeah, it's you sort of lose yourself in that process, whether it's designing a sound or creating a tune or whatever. You sort of lose yourself, and then it sort of like takes you away, but somewhere else.
Yeah, it's kind of a good way of processing those kind of emotions. Sometimes you may not know you're having them, but when you write a motif or play a synth sound that makes you feel that way, and it's kind of a conduit for you to sort of put that somewhere, put that emotion somewhere, which of course, you know, they always say that the most, we're challenged as human beings when we get blocked up, so to speak. And sometimes, you know, they talk about, you know, you need to process that emotion. You need to give that emotion a channel to go to. I've heard that said lots of times anyway. I think it's probably quite true. And sometimes
and
making
you can also
synth
bring back
sounds
memories.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah. It kind of connects you.
Even though that
connects you to different...
Yeah. Even though that's not nothing to do with what you're doing, it's nothing to do with the memory.
Yeah, sometimes it's memory, sometimes it's... Yeah.
Sorry, I was getting someone else saying hello then. There he is. He's back.
There he is.
We're talking about, I don't know if you heard Wilfred, we're talking about how music can be a good healing mechanism for us. Whether we are playing with our instruments, our synths, or whether we're just creating tracks, writing songs, or even just listening. You could be listening to your favorite band with your headphones, or sitting in the car driving, or something like that. Wilfred, do you have any experience with that yourself? Are you? Oh, I can't hear you, mate. I've got your audio on. Your audio is muted, buddy. Your side.
Wait. Okay. When I was young, I was traveling very often to France and Spain, and there I'm together in the Salvador Dali community, together when Tangerine Dream was inside, and I did have a classical instrument on contrabass education in school time, and full of jazz, but I don't have talent, and so I gave up. And I
think we're just having a little bit of trouble trying to get your audio to work there, mate. I think I'm not sure if it's your internet, but we heard what you said a little bit, but it broke up a little bit. So we heard you said you were going to Spain and France, and you had a contrabass, a classical instrument, and then you said
contrabass, and I did live together with Tangerine Dream in Dali's community, and I in that time I have to decide what to do to get a stipendium of Berklee School of Jazz, because my bass teacher is now Professor Kai Eckert. He did play jazz music, and I'm focused on jazz, and so I play some time, but never serious again, because no talent. And now I do. Daniela have one thing I don't have. She has an absolute earring. She hears a microphone if you use a Rode or something. She hears exact the things around, and but she don't have music education. And so with the time, we started with Unify, and step by step, we bring Daniela to a reasonable level for composing, arranging, but mostly classical music. And the new library we provide now is only a effects library, because it's an instrument she don't know. She listen exact guitar, electric guitars, and so. So we found, at least, she never was happy with Plugin Guru's libraries, the guitar libraries. They sound for her ears somehow strange. I cannot hear it, but I can program, and I make the network around and the library. And the plan is, at the moment, that we make an effect library based on Guitarix. This is a Linux program, but quite absolute perfect what I can hear. It includes around 200 songs, so it will be ready. At the moment, I did ask John, he don't have interest. So we look at distributor, and we thought about to give it to you and your community for distribution, at least. So I can, we teamed up with a lot of good guitarists. They use in parts guitar. So this will be included. And in this library, we experiment a long time with Dolby Atmos. So there come some plugins, and the library will be Dolby Atmos ready. So, but deactivated because I think we have the main effects. They are MIT licensed, so everyone can use it. And at least the next idea is Daniela working hard for effects for Synestia from Brian Clevenger, the programmer of Plasmonic, Absent, and we will include this plugin, but deactivated. And you can activate and have a own style, but you can, so you have a lot of presets based on guitar, and to make a better new sounds with guitar based on these plugins. That's the basic idea. At the moment, I have some difficulty because in the main DAW, Daniela used DaVinci Resolve Fairlight. We have a Fairlight Evo from 2017. We got it from a TV audio specialist in Germany, and we got it for a price of 5,000 euros for not so much old machine. So the old real Fairlight is much better than what Blackmagic provide now. And in compiling this guitar from Linux, you'll find it under, if you search Guitarix or Music Lab, musiclab.com. They are guitar specialists, and they provide a very good code. They are very intelligent on the way. We found that DaVinci Resolve, including the hardware and the software, since 2019, they didn't update the most important library for audio. And there is an enormous bug inside DaVinci Resolve, and Daniela.
You're just breaking up, mate. All right. We've just lost you there, mate. Sorry, we've just lost your audio there. I'm not sure what's going on there. It's just disappeared on me. And your video is just. I think you might have lost your connection. So I think what I've done is I've just quickly linked everyone into Discord. You guys can go check it out. There's a link that you're just in the general chat. That D girl, which is Daniela, she's put in the link to the GitHub page, which I just showed on the screen. I'll just quickly go across again. You guys can just see that. And I think what they're looking for is someone who's got the ability to compile VSTs and give them a hand. But yeah, interesting. It looks like it's a Juice-based GUI. So if you guys have noticed, a lot of VSTs have got the Juice platform that they've developed under. It's a pretty easy way to sort of get, if you were designing your own VST, it's a pretty quick way to sort of go through and doing that. Yes. Thanks, Wilfred. Sorry, that audio is just cut out on you, mate. I'm not sure what's going on. Yeah. So, but yeah, that's all right. We definitely got the gist of it. And everyone who's interested in that will just jump over onto Discord, and I guess they can send you guys messages and stuff through that way if they've got any questions. That's for sure. Yeah, sorry, the audio is just not coming through on me for some reason. It's just it's a bit weird. Yeah. Anyway, we've got to get on with the rest of the show. So, appreciate you coming on and sharing it with us. Yeah, so where were we? We were talking about sort of music and how it kind of it benefits each of us when we're going through tough times and when we're going through that sort of emotional period. And Jamie, my situation is very similar to yours. My sister died late 2022, and then my dad's just gone in the last week. So it's the opposite way around for you with your brother and your mum. But it's tough because you start thinking about your own mortality. You start thinking about all sorts of stuff. It's kind of weird when you lose a parent too, because you're the last bastion in that family tree now. You start thinking,
you lose. What I've found is you lose your connection to your childhood. When you get your family around, your brothers, sisters, or whatever, and your parents, and you'd laugh about stuff when you were kids, and what you said, or that kind of thing is gone. So all you've got is your own sort of memories. That was that's been quite sort of challenging, really. Plus, as well, during that period, I lost hearing in my left ear.
Oh no!
And I had 4 courses of antibiotics trying to get rid of it. So it was a challenge doing sound design with one ear, but I did it.
Wow, I can imagine.
But
swapping the headphones around.
There was lots of. Well, you just do them quickly.
Yeah.
But, I managed to do them. So that was it. And I just sort of decided, because I was doing the live stream pretty much every Sunday. I was stopping some of them, and I just decided, just pull it all back, pull all that sort of stuff back. I can always go back to it later if I want to, and same with the EMOMs. The EMOMs are a massive undertaking because you'll start streaming at 7 o'clock, but I would have got there to my lockup at say 12 o'clock to load up and then go to the place, and then the kind of thing. So it was 2 days really to do that, and I mean they were good, and it was enjoyable seeing all these great acts, and Daren included. He blew me away. It's absolutely blew me away. And so yeah, it's been good just to concentrate. I haven't really sort of hammered it either. There hasn't been a huge amount of polysynths coming out, in the past sort of 6 months, really. So, compared to when we had that big spate, probably around 2017, 18, 19, when there was lots of them. So I've sort of took the time, really. Been spending a lot of time with the Prophet X, doing my second bank for that, and which is a beautiful synthesizer, beautiful synth, but it's very laborious to make a patch on it. You know what I mean? There's lots of stuff to do, and of course, being digital, you've got to spend a lot of time adding movement to it. So I've just been doing that, really, and but it does help. It does help because whether you're doing a patch or writing a piece of music or whatever, you just get in a zone, don't you? When you're in that zone, hours go, and you kind of you forget all your cares. It is a little bit of escapism, I suppose. So so that's really what I've been kind of up to, and probably if you're able to do that's probably something you should do, Ranzee, as well.
Yeah, I mean, well, for me, I released an album last year, and I thought to myself, I've got some projects that I've been working on that I probably have not touched for a while, and a lot of the reasons for it are, I've got kids, I've got, that they all come first, so that all just happens anyway, and none of this will interfere. But then when you go through some other things like that, it sort of just everything just pushes it all back, and then you end up just not getting near it. And I just thought to myself over the last few days, I just thought, well, I kind of really, I'm at my best when I'm touching a synth and I'm playing with my eurorack, when I'm recording. That's when I'm at my best. And like you said, Jamie, you kind of feel like you escape in a way. It's not like a bad thing to escape. It's like you need it to heal. You need to escape. You need to take your mind off of things. And I thought it was really good. And then I started thinking about, oh wow, I can start working on this projects that I've been putting off, and it all sort of started to flow back. And I thought, yeah, this is positive. This is a good place to be. And really, all it is just like you said, Jamie, just get yourself back in front of a keyboard or a synth or whatever, and just turn it on, plug it in, put your headphones on, and that's the first step. Start doing that. And yeah, that was kind of my thing.
Because I mean, with doing so, like you're doing here with your stream, and you've been going on for years. I mean, takes a toll as well. And there was certainly an element of burnout for me with it all.
Hell yeah!
So it was a case of, right, I'm just going to, just put it to one side. I stopped once before a couple of years ago. It was a similar sort of thing, really. I wasn't enjoying really what I was doing. I don't think I was putting as much as I should have into it. I think that was the thing, and there's always other things going on. So, I think that's right. I mean, I'll get back to it, but maybe in a different sort of way rather than how I was doing it before. Who knows?
Yeah.
I'm not putting pressure on myself for it.
But the good thing about it is, like, we you and me, Jamie, we've got a fairly similar sort of background when it comes to that side of it, the YouTubing and the streaming and that. And one thing I learned real quick is that you can't really sort of ever feel like you have an obligation, because the moment that then starts to make it feel like it's a job, and then you start questioning everything. Who's my employer? What am I getting out of this? You start questioning everything. So I looked at it from the start as I want it just to be me. Okay, yeah, I'm providing the platform, but I want to be sitting here and everyone else is equal. We're all in the same world together. This is kind of my take on it. And I mean, yeah, I get to press buttons and that sort of stuff, but nobody wants to do that because it's a pain. It's much better to be the person sitting back and enjoying the people that come here, the people that share their life and their experience, and that for me is it's just gold. And what brings me back every week, I guess, what the motivation for me is, I do get burnt out from doing the show, but what brings me back, I'm almost like naturally, organically just coming here and sitting down on a Saturday and going, I have to be here because
feels right.
All my mates are here, and the people that are in this community understand me better than probably my own family at times. My family understand me in a different way, in a different part of my life, but this part of my life, these guys understand me. I have conversations with family members and they go, how many pianos have you got in here? Like, piano. I don't have one piano in here. But So
why do you need so many?
Yeah, why do you need so many pianos?
If I had a penny for every time I put that in a jar, I'd be a rich man answering that question.
Yep. Nobody gets it. But
no.
Then you go to their closet and see how many shoes they have and go, why do you have so many goddamn shoes?
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah. So, yeah, I mean, that's kind of what I wanted to say to you guys is, if you're feeling down in the dumps, it could be any reason, like, your boss told you off at work, or if you've gone through some nasty stuff like Jamie and I, anything, jump in front of a synth, turn it on, put some headphones on, and trust me, if you're scared to do it, trust me, it's the best thing you'll ever do, because the love affair with your gear is an amazing, it's an amazing connection that you have, and before you know it, you're pressing record and your ideas are flowing and you're back to it.
Well, on a good day of doing that, it's very much like going in the shower. You get the alpha waves rushing, and you get a lot of creativity coming, and a lot of relaxation vibes and stuff. And it can be great. It can be amazing.
Yeah, it's getting in that creative zone where everything. It's almost like you're not doing it; someone else is doing it. Daren, you must have that because the amount of tracks you put out.
Wow.
That it must be that's what I like. I do. I get tunnel vision when I'm just sitting down and I'm when I'm making a sound, I'm listening to what I'm doing, but it's like a bit like chess, when you're like playing 4 or 5 different moves ahead. And I'm asking myself questions all the time. Okay, so if I did that, if I modulate that, and then put it there, what you know what I mean? And a lot of it is, it's just completely experimental. It might work, it might not work, but it's when you're in that zone. That's it. That's the best thing. And it's the same. It's creativity. You could be a painter. You could be whatever. It's that once you're in that zone, that's a great place to be. And I think that we can all identify with that. It's a happy place, isn't it? Really?
Oh,
it's our garden
absolutely
at the bottom.
It is. It's our cave. It's whatever you want to call it. Yeah, absolutely. Some really nice comments coming in through the chatties. I'm just highlighting a few as they come in. I remember Mark actually told me about this earlier, but he's just shared it with you guys again. And guys who have been on the stream for years will remember Mark. He went through some tough times, and he's recalling the music therapy side of it in the early days. And that's cool. I love hearing stuff like that because community for me is huge. It's a huge thing because we can be quite lonely people when we're these sort of people. We're the sort of synth people, right? We're sitting behind computers, sitting behind synths. It's a kind of solo sort of world. So we do need a way to connect.
I reckon we're all ADHD. I reckon that's what it is.
Probably. Yeah, probably.
All a little bit of something, yeah.
Yeah.
Neurodiverse gentlemen and ladies.
There's an A word for all of it, right?
Yeah, I'm probably one of them as well.
Since you're talking about a mental health thing, the important thing to remember is just find anything, even if it's not synths, just something that you can dive into and forget about it. In the early 80s, I had a bunch of family members die, including my mom, and it was just a horrible time period of I have to escape. I cannot do this every day, all day. So I worked at a children's zoo part-time, and I dove into the zoo work on the weekends, didn't talk about any of my personal stuff, just work with the animals and the public. And I would literally forget about all the bad stuff every day when I was there. And as soon as I got out, reality hits, and then you go, here we go again. But while I'm there, you're in that zone, and you're happy and just blissfully ignorant about all the horrible stuff. So find something that works that way for you, even if it's not music.
Oh, yeah. I mean, Andy, the stuff that you do is, I actually find it really cool because, it's almost like I can be a tourist just through what you share on YouTube.
Yeah,
do you know what I mean? It's like you take me to these places in the US that I probably would never go to. Seriously.
Well, I've had discussions with Matrix Synth, the guy who runs the site, and he puts my videos up there and stuff. But he also talked about, hey, I love all that travel stuff, and I'm like, I didn't know you had. I thought you're just a music guy, but no, he likes all the weird travel shit too. So people do enjoy it, which is fun. So I like doing it.
Yes. Space and travel stuff I like.
Space and travel stuff. Yeah.
I'm
critters and astronomy.
I'm the only weird one here likes watching machining videos. Metalworking.
That's cool too.
So there's some diversity for you.
I mean, Ken could put a camera in his Carvera and just have that on all day, and people could watch his Carvera do stuff. So
hell yeah. You literally have Carvera cam. Yeah. There was a period where I
knew when I left school. Engineering. That's what I did. I drilled holes in bits of metal on lathes and capstans.
Oh, brilliant!
And CNCs and all that sort of stuff back in. Yes, I've still got the scars to prove it as well.
You've got all your fingers, so you've done very well.
You didn't drill through your hand yet.
Luckily, I got out of all that.
Yes.
Still smell it.
Yes. Oh yes, the smell of the machine shop is unmistakable smell.
It's awesome to see some of the comments, like I was saying before in chat, how some of the guys have been through things, and the show was an out for them, I guess, or a distraction at least, for a couple of hours, and I remember years ago when I first started watching YouTube, and I stumbled across Sonic Stayed, and then you start that synth world started to grow and grow and grow and grow, and we got to, you know, where we are now. And I just remember sort of you'd map out your week, and I want to watch this show on this day. You know, you would not miss it. Like you literally would, you know, cancel appointments so you wouldn't miss it.
Wow. Yeah, I mean, some of the early ones with YouTube I used to look for was like Mark Doty with all his vintage stuff.
Yeah.
Getting these noises out. There was a guy called Keyboard Wizard who used to get the latest sort of synths, like, you know, Virus TI or whatever, and he was just shredded them. And I bought loads of synths based upon him. It was really good in the early days with YouTube.
Yeah, he was,
Not so it isn't now, because it is. There's definitely lots and lots of stuff, isn't there?
There's probably more than what we can consume.
He made creative videos too. It was really fun to watch.
He was there right at the beginning, wasn't he, Jexus?
Yeah,
and then he sort of took a.
Do you remember his radius? The radius video he did, that was insane. If you've never seen the Korg radius video by Jexus, go watch it. Like
the Polyvox one, he's got Charles Manson dancing around and all this stuff.
Yeah, there was a guy in Canada that I used to watch, and he used to go and tour like around different music stores, whether it would be in the US or Canada, and I used to always find that intriguing because, you know, it's kind of like what you do, Andy. It's like tourism through the eyes of someone else, but related to synths. It was kind of cool. And he'd go into places and get permission, and they would give him, and then he'd play, and he'd plug his camera audio in. It was really, really, really quite well done. I forget the name of him now. I actually think he might have been on my channel for a bit, and don't know if he's around anymore though. Like, he's still probably around, but it's in YouTube. So someone will remember him. Yeah, I don't know. Like, just the sort of, we were looking at just the MPC, for example, last week, and I kind of thought to myself after that show finished, and we were talking about how the MPC's gone to 3.0, and then I was saying on the show that I bought my MPC Live, this one here, in 2017, and I actually went back into my emails and looked for the receipt to make sure that I actually got that right. Oh no, yep, I definitely bought it in 2017. And then I thought to myself, hang on a minute, how long ago was 2017? It doesn't seem like that long ago. But it is. It's like 7 years ago. Yeah. And I just, what I kind of find a little bit kind of crazy is, like, if you bought an MPC today, would you expect it to last 7 years without a hic, without a complete, like, would you, if that was if someone said to you, look, it's got a 1 year warranty, but hey, it's going to last you 7 years, you'd probably think to yourself, that's a pretty decent piece of quality product that I know this is going to last me 7 years, because most of us change our computers even sooner than that, right?
Oh, but some of us like to keep theirs going for in ad infinitum.
And we've got, I know it's a bit hard to talk. It's a bit hard to talk to synth people about this, because I know all of us have probably got vintage synths that we've had for years, and it's a thing about them, right? They last. But in the modern, I would say that the MPC is like a modern product in the modern era of manufacturing. I still find that kind of nice, that things are still lasting. And I mean, mine's looking a little bit battered. A little bit battered from use.
Microfork's been going. I mean, not just being sold, but also they still work. You know, they just go and go and go.
2004 was when I bought mine. I don't know if that was the year they started, but I remember buying it pretty early in the piece.
Somewhere around there. I bought one around there too.
Yeah, and mine's still sitting. I plugged it in not long ago. It still works fine. And they were like considered to be really, really cheap and nasty. The microcorgs, like they were like
But they're competing with the Micron at the time for the price point.
Yeah, the Alesis.
Of course, Micron's long gone. So
What synth have you got that has lasted you and it's surprised you? Like I said, the MPC. So what about you guys?
I've still got the first synth I bought brand new.
So you go first, Jamie. Sorry, I didn't catch you.
Yeah, the first synth I ever bought, I saw my decks, because I'd been on the studio course and that was it. I wanted a synthesizer because in there, this was like 1988, and they had like in the studio they had it was a Kyra K1, there was an MC202, there was some Moog, I can't remember what it was, and it was an Akai S900 and some other bits, and of course tape machine. And that's what I did to these tracks. And all I did, I just sampled loads of my records. But from that experience, I thought, that's it. I'm selling me decks when I first moved up to Blackpool. And there was a music shop here that had synths. Of course, you don't have that thing anymore in the local ones. You have to go to cities for that now. But they had it was a DX7 Mark II, and it was secondhand. It was £795, and I did about 6 months of extra shifts as well as selling me decks and all this kind of thing. And I I had it for 2 weeks, and I hated it because I couldn't figure out what the hell I was doing with it. It wasn't like these synths that are in the studio where you twiddled a knob and all that kind of thing. There weren't any. So I took it back and I exchanged it for, you can all laugh, a Roland D10. And and I still have that to this day, and it still works. It's been opened a few times to clean it and everything. And the funny thing about that synth and the D50, because the way that LA sort of works is you've got two kind of oscillators for synthesis. You've got a saw and a square, and then you've got little samples. Now, that must be the first ever virtual analog synth.
Yeah.
So, which is back there. And I concentrated. I remember spending hours, much to the, pissing off my girlfriend at the time, just sitting there and making sounds, making bass sounds, and, getting ready a palette to make things. Not using the samples, they sounded naff, but using the sort of analog side, which is
the VA
weird,
side.
But yeah, I still have that to this day, and it still works. And it's strange because I've got a D110 as well. I picked that up for like 50 quid, and I loaded my old patches in, and I went through them like about a year ago. It's like, bloody hell, that was all right back then.
Cool.
So, yeah,
that's pretty cool. I think the Synclavia might have been the first VA. I don't know. Someone will correct us. Digital VA, that is. But
I know for a long
definitely
time,
all around that sort of time.
I know for a long time people didn't realise that the oscillators in the D series were virtual analog. For many years, people insisted they were analog.
Well, they were so good.
So D50 sounded so good. Yeah, it's amazing.
Yeah, so it was just very well done, virtual analog. But
that
people really.
What was that Seal song?
Thought that it was difficult.
Was it Crazy?
Killer?
Oh yeah.
And it had that famous D50 patch on it. What's it called? The one that's kind of a filtery, sort of sweepy sound.
Fantasia?
Soundtrack, is it?
Yeah, it might have been soundtrack. Yeah, it might have been soundtrack. So that sound is so analog, in the sense.
Interesting, isn't it?
Yeah, that was what's his name? From Omnisphere, sound designer.
Yeah.
Yep. Same guy
Percy.
with the D50.
Yeah.
Something with the P.
Yep, Percy.
Eric Persing.
Persing,
Eric Persing, yeah, one of his. But that was a cracking synth from the day, and because I got into it, and around that sort of 88 was when I started on that course, and for me it was like everything was the future. I wanted these slick-looking synthesizers with screens on them. I didn't want these old Tandy Radio Shack looking things that my dad had. You know what I mean? It was. I didn't want all those knobby type of synths. Of course, I wish I could go back and kick myself, but so that's why I kind of went down that road of the sort of D10. I couldn't quite afford the M1 because that was brand new, I think, at the time, and the D50 was still quite expensive. But it was £895. I had to pay an extra £100 back in 1988, 89, I think it was. I bought that. So. Yeah, £895. So God knows what that is through inflation, but it's probably a Muse.
Yeah,
probably. Yeah.
That synth there is one of my first synths. That's a CS1X, not the first synth that I bought, but one of my first synths, and I've had that since probably 95, 94. I don't know when it came out. 96. I don't know, somewhere in mid-90s era, whenever they came out. My actual first synth that I bought was an XP10.
Oh yeah, I had one of them.
And I actually wanted to have a synth before that, but because when I finished school, I joined the Air Force, and I was being moved around, like basically every 3 months I was moved, and it was just too hard to lug a synthesizer around. And I kind of, I used to always get myself to a place which, either it was a music store or it was a recording studio or somewhere, or a friend's place that had synths, and I used to play them that way. And so I was always around them, but I never bought my first one until I think I actually bought my first Housse before I bought my first synth.
Wow.
Because I kind of knew I'm here, I'm settled. And I remember telling the Air Force, I said, you guys aren't allowed to move me because I've just bought a house, and I'm going to get really, really pissed off with you.
When you really meant you just bought a studio. Don't move me. Okay.
Yeah, but it worked because they didn't move me. I actually stayed in one place for 8 years, which was like unheard of. And it was funny because every 12 months the posting cycle would come around, and they'd send out the messages to everyone about where you're going and where you're heading off to. And I'd be like, oh, okay, my name's not on there. Cool, another year. Yay! And I found out years later, there was a guy who worked in the head office in Canberra, which is like the capital of Australia, and he actually remembered coming across my file, and he looked at it and he went, oh, he's bought a house. Now leave this guy alone. I thought that was a genius thing that I did.
Wow,
that's cool.
Well done.
But I remember when I bought the XP10. I've told you guys the story probably a few times now. The whole process of it was kind of similar to what you said, Jamie. Like the whole process of it was kind of like why you wanted it was, what money you had in the bank account was part of the influence. What features it gave you was another part of the influence, and the fact that it didn't have knobs wasn't actually even on the radar at that time, because I think if we put ourselves back into that era, I think we were all being talked away from going with those old knobby synths because they didn't stay in tune. Yeah. And so all those salespeople in those music stores, they were saying, don't touch that stuff. That's rubbish. That's going to go out of tune. You're going to hate yourself.
It was a different generation using that stuff.
Yeah. Just look at the
sleek, futuristic stuff.
At the same time.
Yeah. And we had the digital with the screens, and it looked really fancy because it was backlit.
It was the future, wasn't it? That was the thing. It was sucked in with science fiction and all that, and games and
reduced controls on Star Trek and all those things.
Yeah, that was it. We were living in the Star Trek world.
Yeah. Your synths had to light up like a cockpit of a 747. That's funny. I think some of us probably even sat in our studios and turned the lights off. And so Darren definitely done it. I know you've done it, Darren. I know you've done it. Turn the lights off, look at all the lights.
That and workstations were starting to come into their own at about that time, weren't they, as well?
Yep, they were.
That was a big
big... Because
that was a big thing.
Yeah,
wasn't it?
you don't need all these synths
multi-timbre
with sliders because they just do one sound and everything. Whereas like the XP50 here, look, it's multi-timbre. You can do 16 parts at the same time. And
it had a floppy drive in it.
And then it's like, oh yeah, and a floppy drive, yeah. So so that's why I think that was my first synth. And it's like,
I used to.
And then you sort of begin to realise that you want separate drums, you want different.
Yes, kind of come full circle, haven't we?
Thing. Yeah.
But it was the Corgo one that I absolutely drooled over in the store, because there was I think at the same time there was the D70 that came out, and that was just purely samples, and then but then the store got the 01 in. It was like heaven listening to that thing. With all these breathy choir sounds and all that sort of stuff. And it was, I think it came out at the same time as the Prophecy. Remember the Prophecy they did, that mono?
Yes.
I think it was around the same time those two came out. That was part of the same release year. But yeah, the 01W. In fact, I'd love to get one now, actually, but they all seem to be broken. And then the whole sort of Trinity range, Trinity and Triton came out. That was it. I think it was the Trinity and the Monosynth came out at the same time, not the 01. But I had those when I was gigging. You know, I gigged in a cheesy duo, me and my missus at the time, and did like 10 years of that. So they were like rock solid that you could just go round, and I'd go out with a Triton and a Trinity and an X5 DR, I think I had as well. And then, cheesy backing tracks, mini disc and playing over the top while she did a bit. And it was workstations, they have a crappy name now, but really they were a synth, a digital synth with a sequencer in it. That was it. And at one point, it was the only way you could get new sound.
Exactly.
So,
it was the only option for doing composition, wasn't it? That's the thing I remember, is that was a workstation was the way you would be able to build a song.
Yeah.
It was...
Even if you were sequencing it...
Before DAWs, really, but yeah.
Well, that's why I got that, because it has XG on it. And at the time, XG was like this massive library. I mean, it's not massive now, quite compared to, but at the time, it's just a synth that you've got to take, right? So I took that synth, and that's the only synth I took. But I had a MIDI player which was able to access the XG sounds, because you could actually use XG MIDI, which is slightly different to a general MIDI, right? And the XG sounds were a lot better quality. This is at the time. Now they're so cheesy,
more
right?
varied.
But at the time, they were good. And so in my band that I was playing in, I was able to sequence some of those XG sound effects in the background. And you can map them to your keyboard as well if you wanted to. But, I played like Van Halen Jump on that thing. It sounded just like
you lived to tell
what it was supposed to.
Well done.
Yeah. No one cared. I mean,
it didn't die of shame, yes.
People are drunk. They don't give a shit.
Exactly. I was going to say...
They're not going to go, that's not an Oberheim. You're a fake.
I can say in Australia, that would instantly get people on the dance floor if you played Jump.
It did.
They don't think it's naff at all still.
You get idiots on the dance floor jumping up and down. When you play Jump.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
I'm glad Jamie brought up the 01W. It's like my favorite Rompler of all time. It's just amazing.
Okay.
Yeah, the 01W. Yeah, it was good.
The sound design is very organic. It's very cinematic. They have great classical stuff on there. I mean, it's good enough for Jean-Michel Jarre to use on a bunch of tracks. So
he did.
Van Gogh used it as well. But it had that kind of wave shaping. The
wave shaper is cool because it didn't have a proper resonant filter, but you could fake it with a wave shaper.
Yeah,
it's amazing.
Yeah, lovely sounding synth, definitely.
That's why I bought the M3 later on, because it kind of followed that sort of
M3's good too. Yeah,
that pedigree, if you use that word.
Plus, it has the Karma engine built into it, which is fun.
I mean, the Karma engine was always, to me, it was always a little bit gimmicky, because I could never do any Karma programming as good as Steven did.
Well, that's the thing. He was banned in the box. If you have to make videos and you don't want to use copyrighted music and you don't have time to crank something out, you could go in the Karma engine and quickly crank out something that sounded really good, and you didn't have to pay for it.
It's original. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. But the sounds were there was a lot of sounds from the M1. There's a lot of sounds from the 01W.
Yeah.
Like they were all loaded on there. Korg literally just went, right, what can we chuck on this thing?
And
the M3
if you put it in the right mode, those sliders would make the craziest synth sounds as you live tweak them and put them in weird positions. A lot of people never did that. They just played sounds as is. But if you put it in the one mode and move those sliders in all different extreme amounts, you got some of the most whacked out sounds on that M3. I was shocked by it.
Plus, you could put a radius card in it as well, couldn't you?
Yeah, I've got
I have
a
the
radius card
in it.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, I remember I had one. It was probably the nicest keyboard to play in terms of synth sounds for runs. It had a nice, lovely feel to it, and
it's not bad.
It was,
and those cool pads that were used for storing chords.
Yeah, the pads for chords.
The actual keys themselves, they have a little So if you ever look at keys, and you can actually go, and this is something that Jamie's just brought up, and I think it's actually a massively important thing. When you actually look at the physical keys on a keyboard, they are so different across so many synths. And some of them are an absolute pain in the ass because your little finger gets stuck in between the keys when you're doing runs, right? And I hate that.
Well, that's like the Osmos.
Yeah. If you're playing a keyboard in a shop and your little finger gets stuck in between the keys, do not buy that keyboard. That's the absolute piece of crap. Whereas the M3 key, if you actually look at it closely, it's got a kind of a bevel on the edge, but then there's a lip. So it's kind of, if you're looking at it from left to right across the key, it's got a little bevel and a lip. And so if your fingers going across each key as you're playing them, you get that really nice tactile smooth feel, but you can feel like you can definitely feel the differences in the keys, but it's not like this mountain that you're climbing up and down the different keys, which, you know, some of the older fashioned like piano keys have. And then, you know, you're not getting that harsh edge either. So you're kind of, and they're quite light on the spring as well. So some people don't like that, but I think probably because I'm more of a synth player than a, you know, Richard Clayderman style pianist. I find it, I don't know, I just find it better to have that sort of
Innovation was good with those keybeds too. The X Station had the rounded tops on the keys.
Yeah,
for easy access across the keys, and it was nice. Great aftertouch, really nice.
Yeah, I mean, I find the Moog keybeds are quite nice as well. Like, Jamie, I'm sure you're probably enjoying that Muse keybed.
Yeah, I mean, it's Fatah, isn't it? So it's the Moog one is very different though. That feels very posh.
Right.
It has a texture to it. That doesn't feel like plastic. It's very strange. But yeah, this is nice sort of key. I mean, if it's sort of like fast runs, like I say, I like the M3. I really loved the Yamaha EX5. Because it was like, you know, 76, was it? Notes? And,
76. It's massive too.
I just found it so quick to play. I mean, if I try and play a run on a weighted keyboard, I can't do it. I have to put bricks on my hand. You know, it just doesn't work. But EX5, I love that. But yeah, these Fatah ones are very nice. You get them on the sort of sequential stuff. So you know, the sixes. So yeah,
quite a lot of people are using Fatahs, aren't they? So it's kind of common across a few brands.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I like fast running sort of keys, but it all depends. Depends on some days I wake up and my fingers just don't want to work, so it's like I've got gloves on. I just play chords. That's it. I'm happy with that.
That's every day for me.
So Culture of Ghosts in chat,
I am totally.
He's saying that he thinks the M3 had a Yamaha keybed.
Oh right,
the Yamaha FS keybed.
It felt from memory. It was a while ago. It felt fast, but it was fairly silent as well.
Yeah,
there's no clicky clacking.
No clicky clacking. No.
So you know, and sometimes with clicky clacking, and you're listening to it through speakers, you're hearing the sound, and you're hearing clicky clack on top, and it kind of puts you off a little bit. It doesn't sound as good. So when it's a nice silent bed, I mean, this one's not bad. The D10, my D10 is the worst on the planet.
Reminds me of doing YouTube videos, like when you in the earlier days when I was doing the multi audio thing, and you have to go into Adobe Premiere and do the clap track and all. This is like early days, right? And I just remember, like, you'd get the video footage of the camera, maybe the camera that was pointing down at the synth, and it would have no synth audio in it, but what it would pick up is all the key presses.
Yeah, I've got a few videos really like that already.
Yeah.
The Mini Freak's a bit like that.
That's how I do all my videos. All like that.
with the clap track.
I do. I haven't moved on.
There's nothing better than it, mate. Nice. I think we should probably wrap up the show, eh? Getting close to pumpkin time for me and Chris.
Yeah, my nap.
Yeah. Go and develop some more of that bed hair.
That's right. That's pretty. It's like Gumby did it. It's a slope.
It's
Yeah.
big in 2024. That look.
I'm up early tomorrow anyway. I got to coach a soccer game tomorrow. I've only got, I think it's 4 more to go. Is it 3 more to go? 4? It's not that many anyway, so I'm looking forward to that. And then my Sundays will be free. Yay! And we might be able to do some shows for longer hours then. That'd be good. Might sort of creep in and then like butt up against Kent's pub show or something like that. I don't know. We'll work it out. I was having a chat to Mac, who's in the chat as Macro Doze. Do you guys know him? I've put the idea. He hasn't really got back to me yet. He's got a little T-shirt business that he's running from his new location. So I've put the idea that we're gonna. I said to him that I'm more than happy for him to do some Synth Geekery shirts, which you guys know the Synth Geekery logo, which you can see in between those little squares there. And we'll get some of those set up, and I'm happy for him just to take the profits and everything on his side. So because it'll get his little business up and running.
Is it just T-shirts, or can he do these embroidered polo shirts? Because I love the embroidered polo shirts.
You have to ask him, mate. So I'll let him come back to us with some ideas. I'll send him some graphic files, and he can play around with it. So we'll look at doing something like that. I mean, we're not going to do Ranzee shirts like this because
you're not going to do a tell him he's dreaming shirt or something like that.
Tell him he's dreaming. I think we could, I think we could do some Price Watch shirts. It just some people probably wouldn't get it though.
I was trying to convince him to do a only synths, kind of in the only fans type.
Yeah, only
logo.
synths. Yeah.
OS.
Suggestive graphic.
It's a great idea.
Yeah.
There are a few other ideas I gave him as well.
So hopefully it's in chat now. So hopefully he gets back to us and comes up with some ideas, and then we can go from there. And maybe we can show you next week if he's not too busy. He's saying that he's saying in chat he can do all sorts. So there you go. Lingerie, knickers,
G-strings,
Ranzee branded lingerie. I love it.
Gimp masks. No, maybe not.
Ranzee crotchless panties and stuff.
Only synths.
You must really love your synths when it gets cold enough.
Show me your oscillators. Boom, boom. Good on you guys. All right. Well, have a good week, everybody. Thanks, Jamie, for joining. Jamie, you are welcome anytime, mate. The door is always open. You know that. You don't have to ever ask. You can just come straight on in if you've got time.
Yeah, just pop in.
Straight on in. Absolutely.
Will do.
It's good to see you, Jamie.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
and thanks to Daniela and Wilfred, I think it was, who came on earlier and wanted to share that information with us. That was nice of you guys. Thanks, Wags, for the 3-pounder. Good on you, bud. Little cat saying bye. You guys can see it waving in the background there.
Oh, it's an echo.
Take care, Chatties.
Great moment.
Press record. Bye, everyone.
So,
All right, buddy.
I'll take care. Bye-bye.